So. Nochmal. Zu gut, danke für den 16.
Not great for D+. So I think still the underdogs here. We'll see what they can do, whether we can have 3 games here at this T1 home ground, and I'm hoping that we can, because the KSPO Dome is looking absolutely magical, and we just kind of want to stick around, you know?
Also, Lucian Video gehe ich davon aus, dass gebannt werden sollte.
The big rivalry, of course, but
Orianna Cassio natürlich auch eine Option. Schöne Crowd da, ja.
Giving Owner the respect he deserves on one of his best, and honestly, I associate Nocturne with him more than any other player. He was playing it before it was the meta, and I think it is meta because of him.
Richtige LCK-Playoffs.
All the time. It was just kind of ridiculous, so I think having that ban come on through is definitely a good idea. There are only 2 more slots, though, and the Orianna the Cassiopeia, that is where we're running into a little bit of issues. They are going to ban the Cassiopeia.
Cassio raus heißt Orianna raus. Das bedeutet, wird das Lucian Melee 1-2 für DK? Hallo auf dir.
And Wolf, I need to ask you, right? So I was talking to Hunian Wadid yesterday, and we are all kind of in agreement that Vi first pick is a trap.
It is a trap. I'm over it. I don't like it right now.
Orianna ban.
Complete agreement. I think it's you have to build your comp a little bit.
Sie bannen Lucian, okay. Sie geben nicht. Okay, sie geben Orianna.
This is rule number 1.
So I think they were thinking about if there's no Nocturne ban.
Dachte, sitzt der Oberkörper frei und hat Galei und trotzdem hat sich wenig gestört. Was sagt das über dich? Was sagt das über dich? Aber ja, ein bisschen mehr... Ein bisschen mehr Bräune wäre für mich gut. Ich weiß, es würde dann noch besser aussehen.
They give it to POM back to back. In Carrier here.
Innocent the choice.
And see what D+ respond with here without the Nocturne. A Lulu lane.
Mit Shenban. Heißt Leona ist die nächste Antwort.
In some ways, like D+ felt
realistische nächste Antwort.
Just trying to get rid of FaZe's Lucian, which is also a good idea. Showmaker will remind everyone from the last time they played against each other.
China sitzt mir gegenüber.
The Orianna, a very good idea. The Jhin going to be locked in here to just free up some space on the bottom side of the map is the way I feel Jhin has been utilized more recently. Allows you to play towards that top side a little bit more effectively because he is so self-sufficient. Bottom side and provides a lot of utility later on.
If you want to run a Ziggs draft, which, you know, everyone knows I'm not the biggest Ziggs person right now. You could Vi Ziggs here, and now you have a Vi draft, and now Vi makes sense. But instead, with the lane prio...
Es ist Locke und ich mag Locke sehr gegen Orianna.
Potentially here.
Sehr, sehr, sehr gut gegen Orianna.
I want to say this slowly. I want this to sink in, everyone.
I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but I want you to say it.
Brospiration. T1 have looked at Namgung and the incredible play that he made. 0-8 at the time of making the game-winning play. Did not matter. The rest
Ist Locke eine Kale-Alternative? Ja.
Just won the game.
I thought you were going to say that Locke is like the ultimate big brain champion, and that's why it's good for Faker to play it. Because I think that if you know exactly where you need to be and you know how to make a draft to get lane prio, Locke is incredibly strong. And
no. It always comes back to bro with me. Will.
Okay. I mean, that you had the much more valid point. I just wanted to add something. As Vi will get taken, so even though it wasn't the setup I was expecting, it's still a Vi draft here with the Camille. And Xin will be the answer here for Lucid. Just have that durable front line and is one of the better ball carriers. Although, would have preferred the Jarvan if we're looking at ball carriers alone or the Nefiri. But ultimately, they do end up going for this Xin instead.
Yeah, this is interesting, though, because I feel like this opens the doors for an Olaf pick later. I feel like Jarvan can make that a little bit awkward. Olaf also pretty good into the Vi as well, if he's ever going to get targeted there. Now just going to be focusing on what FaZe wants to be picking up. I do think that Lucid is also just a really good Xin Zhao player. Does pair very well with the Orianna at the same time, so the mid-jungle synergy is going to be there.
Yeah, I think you need something with a little bit of setup here for FaZe. You know, like the Ezreal works perfectly because it is able to match some of the ranges. They're looking for that Olaf pick you were talking about with the Kled ban.
Ja, kannst du überlegen, kannst schon neue Patch rein, 15er. Siehst du auch in der Mitte. Hallo, Set. Also die Frage ist, ob du Ziggs rausnimmst, ob die Ziggs juckt. Ja, und Kled bedeutet Olaf. Actually, sie müssen Olaf bannen. Oder sie picken Olaf auf 4. Oh, wollen sie Olaf auf 4 picken?
With the Kled removed, those are some considerations. I'd rather just see the Olaf ban. It feels like a safe, sure ban.
I mean, you just don't need to ban it. Why don't you just let T1 ban Olaf counters?
Dann 6, okay, und jetzt musst du als DK Olaf auf 4 picken. Das bedeutet, wir bekommen dann wahrscheinlich eine Vayne-Antwort.
Making that Olaf on 4 feel like the right call. Like, if this is a Jax ban, I'm going to lose my mind. It's just very confusing. But we'll see what they do
Olaf
decide
plus
to do.
Jhin is also pretty good, as we'll see the Alistar removed instead here first. The Ziggs was a pick that I was talking about that can help set up the lock, but also works well with Vi and Camille, so I think that's a great ban. It's similar to the Ezreal conversation I was just having. Rel feels pretty good with the Orianna in setup.
I feel like you're walking into the Olaf, aren't you? Wait, there is no Vayne ban.
There's no Vayne ban and there's no Jax ban.
Yeah, and the Vayne is a kind of awkward matchup into the Olaf. I was actually having a conversation with Huni about it yesterday.
I feel like this
doesn't necessarily just hard win.
Okay, das heißt, Sie haben eine Antwort auf Olaf?
Rel,
I'm worried about the Olaf.
I like the Rel more. They like the Rel.
Für wen sind wir heute? Für DK, okay, aber okay, also.
This is how you're using
Okay.
the pick as D+. You're going to match the support with the Camille.
Okay, ist es Vayne? Weil Vayne gegen Camille Vi hört sich jetzt nicht so playable an.
Renata right now and play the Camille top. That'd be a big.
That'd be crazy, but it'd be blind Camille top, and I don't think that's a good idea.
No, I don't think it's a good idea. But we'll see what they decide to do ultimately here. There's not a whole lot of poke AD carry left. Maybe Varus, but I don't think so. In this draft, is they need to get these champions whittled down. Now they are going to go for the Olaf here ultimately, and it'll probably be a Jax here for Shu as a response.
Yeah, a little bit worried about that. I feel like the Jax has been a little bit less successful, although Frog did kind of go ballistic on it yesterday. Carrier, what are we going to be picking for pays? That is the question that we have right now.
Varus, I think can work here, but it is very risky.
Yeah, it's almost feeling like a pick away as well as the Kai'Sa is what comes in. I feel like Kai'Sa...
So, jetzt muss mir hier jemand erzählen, was kommt da als Last... Oh, Broxhaufen Jax.
Taeyeon having a great experience on it more recently. And that will be the lock-in. So there's that Jax that you were talking about, Wolf. And it makes a great teamfight comp, but I just don't know whether I necessarily feel like this is the right answer to the Olaf.
I think that it's great with Orianna. It's great with...
Super hartes Snowball-Matchup auf Toplane.
AoE pull-ins. Either of them.
Paint hat eine Series performt, eine Series gespielt hat. Und das war relativ unsichtbar.
Leap strike in with an Orianna ball on
Also...
set up the shockwave and then set up counter-strike, so the counterplay there is really...
Weiß ich nicht.
The Kai'Sa is the part of this draft here for T1 that I feel like you didn't need, because you already have so many ways to get on top of the backline, and now you're sacrificing a lot of lane with this. If it's like AP Kai'Sa for poke, that's also probably not good, but at least it would give you the opportunity to whittle those health bars down so that Faker can find that success, because prio-wise here, you got a volatile matchup in topside, you've got a pretty Orianna-favored matchup in mid, and then you have a Kai'Sa lane in the bottom lane. So it can win.
Oh, I don't know. Also,
Ages go, but
guck mal, also die Sache ist, wie spielst du in Topside rein und wie zur Hölle lebst du später? Weil das Problem ist, wir können stark davon ausgehen, dass Smash diesen Move-Speed-Item-Bild gehen wird. Das bedeutet, weiß ich nicht, ob die Damage haben mit Game. Mal sehen.
Actually just really get ahead.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This might be a game that's just won on the top side of the map because we know what Olaf can do if he gets ahead. We have seen more and more of them struggle as people sort of develop their idea on how this matchup works. I feel like the way Frog played it yesterday, though, was just exceptional. Let's get on to the Rift, though, for game number 1.
Abfahrt.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
My goodness.
D plus a little bit more muted, as you'd imagine.
Yeah, I was trying to hear whether we actually got it because it's not being fed into our heads.
Ignite gegen Exhaust Toplane. Also, Ignite gegen Exhaust Matchup. Du tradest einmal Sums als Jax und dann hast du einen, ich glaube, 40 Sekunden Timer, auf dem dein Ignite up ist, während das Exhaust noch nicht up ist. Und dann suchst du den zweiten Trade. Du spielst quasi über 2 Trades diese Lane. 60 Sekunden sogar, ja. Dann ist aber vielleicht hat Doran Cosmic Insight. Obwohl, er hat dann Push Velocity wahrscheinlich dabei, ne? Ja, also auf jeden Fall, du tradest einmal, ja, da ist es oben, ihr seht's, Ignite für Exhaust Trade. Ja, Ignite für Exhaust Trade. Und dann suchst du eben jetzt gleich auf dem nächsten Timer, den du dann hast, mit Ignite gegen Exhaust, suchst du dann den nächsten All-In. So solltest du das Matchup spielen. Wenn du es richtig machst. Gut gemacht von Shivu.
Exactly. So very important to win at this time. He has no farm. you know, he got a lot of the experience, as you guys could see, underneath his health bar there, but it's a free back for Shiu. And he's going to grab a dagger. So that's going to be a pretty big edge he's going to have in the next exchange that these two have, as Doran will get the farm that's under turret here, can hold that wave in an uncomfortable spot.
And this is all goes
Doran muss Level 1 Base gehen, ja.
with how locked.
Das ist halt dieses Level 1 All-In.
Priority in your lane.
Und das ist jetzt noch viel besser für Shivu, eben weil er gleich nochmal diesen All-In,
Positions on the map. Faker right now doing
weil er diesen All-In nehmen kann.
Showmaker that's winning these health trades is another Counter-Strike.
Er ist tot, oder?
Is just
Er ist tot.
the flash forward, gets the flash out of Doran, leap strike comes in, one more, it's first blood. Shiu is gonna go down, it's a 1.
Und Wave ist gut auf Top-Lane. Lecker.
Yeah, he only
Good
got
Fabi.
7 of those CS
And it's
there.
pushing back.
It's pushing
oh my
back.
Ja.
god.
And, you know, now he doesn't.
Und jetzt kommt schaut Exhaust gegen, ihr seht's, ne? Exhaust gegen Ignite haben wir, ihr seht, was das für ein Unterschied ist im Cooldown.
As well as the fact that Luku's on the top side of the map right now, it's Lucid, so he could take this Scuttle Crab and then just come immediately topside there and challenge Doran on that wave. And so yes, you got a little bit of push in mid with the lock, with a really nice all in there from Faker, but not winning topside. And again, a volatile matchup with lock. That's a really, really tough one for how the win con is either going to work out, or in this case, likely not to. But like I
Glaubst du, er weiß es mit dem 40-Sekunden-Timer? Natürlich. Natürlich.
Yep.
Das ist die ganze Idee von diesem Summoner Trade.
Down, but it looks like Lucid's position was given away.
he just can't farm, Atlas.
Yeah, he can't. Like, this is the thing, because Lucid could be there, no matter what. And he is going to get some vision down, but this is a disaster. If he had died there, the game would be over.
Oh yeah,
Like,
but
it
at
just
least
would have been over.
At least he didn't, right? At least he has that knowledge, right? Owner was bottom side, and he's like, look, I don't have vision top side. Now Doran put a ward down, but
So, und jetzt ist die Sache.
there's a pretty high chance
Er muss einfach nur auf seine Ignite warten jetzt.
wave setups
Und dann kann er auf jeden Fall, dann sollte er den All-In auf jeden Fall gewinnen.
that money. This is really frustrating. So we're gonna go back to the initial exchange here.
Und da ist nachher wieder useful natürlich.
So actually, no, I thought we were gonna go back to see how they use their sums, but Doran just gets counter-struck as in the bottom lane.
Yeah,
Career's
it's
dead.
going to be carry with
Was?
kill onto the route. Not entirely sure how that happened. To begin
Er
with,
hat 9 CS auf Top-Lane, by the way.
a good start here as far as the bottom lane play for T1. Carrier just back to his PO.
So, jetzt kann er natürlich, wenn er möchte, jederzeit den All-In suchen. Mit Ignite, er gewinnt auf jeden Fall.
Career's engage into his own engage. So Career wasted. I think Career probably first to move. Let's see. Yes. Career first to move on this one, looking for a backstop. And Carry is right here.
Aber warum, was?
Yeah, cute idea, but not exactly one that was going to really work out.
It's Hayes who helps get that extra shot in.
Der muss reported werden.
Away.
Oh, in the meantime, Faker taking a bit of damage here in mid. His career does show up, fresh from base.
Ja, ich schwöre, ergibt keinen Sinn. Warum hat der nicht einfach auf Jinwei gespielt?
CS down, pretty happy about that. Into the ranged matchup. Pays 75% win rate here, 12-4.
He was a
The
big,
LCK.
big winner on Gen G during the Kaisa meta.
And JDG as well. I feel like he did like to play this champion, but not as much success as when he was with Gen G.
That's true. Kaisa was very meta during the year he spent at Gen G and fell off a little bit since then. So that's why you see some of those numbers there. Might actually be
Jetzt ist Exhaust wieder ab, das heißt, du hast nicht diesen Timer gefunden, aber du hast natürlich, dadurch, dass du ihn schon gekillt hast, ist es natürlich alles
Career's moving up.
super egal.
Faker, but it looks like nothing too much
Lucid.
going to happen. Yeah, Lucid moving in.
Und Wave ist Top-Lane halt wieder geknallt.
And that is kill Doran before 6. That would be
Doran Hill aber 6 von dem zweiten Melee, glaube ich. Nee, noch nicht. Na, Moment, war gelogen.
if you can start playing through topside and get these grubs and the Jack side lane win con is online.
3 Range müsste reichen.
Well, and it means your ball carrier is, if you can get an extra arm guard, for example, Shiu is just in such a good spot.
Ein Creep weg.
Putting the Olaf down is a big win, but getting ahead as Jax for this draft is also amazing. And they won't commit to anything, and it will be a dragon taken by Owner on the other side as a result of this. So T1 still heavily winning on this bottom side of the map, despite a bit of a Jax problem top side.
Yeah, it feels like things are a little bit skewed, but T1 are making the most of it. They have a 600 gold advantage, and they also pick up that first dragon. No tech as far as our souls are concerned, as the Chemtech does come up next. And we'll just have to see how things continue to develop as Pays doesn't find the Void Seeker, but does avoid the Deadly Flourish quite nicely there with the Supercharger.
Career still doesn't have flash, so very scary for him to be positioning aggressively like that, especially without knowing where Carrier was. Carrier is looking for a punish. Pays hits level 6, but he doesn't get caught.
Ja, Matchup, mit der Matchup diese Trades. Ja, relativ normal. Wir sehen auch schon Roll of Ages in the Making bei Showmaker.
Or could have happened. It would have been such a problem for D+, but it doesn't work out.
Nope, not quite yet. Carrier moving down towards his bottom side once again. Was on a little bit of a roam, but doesn't exactly find too much outside of that control ward that he decided not to destroy, which is interesting.
Es ist ein sehr, sehr gutes Jax-Game. Richtig? Dass Olaf den Sin im Busch riecht, war krass. Nee, seine Wave war Dogshit. Seine Wave war Dogshit und sie haben Drake for free bekommen, also wo soll der Sin sauer sein? Ist gut, dass er respected hat, aber zu realisieren, wo er ist jetzt nicht die größte Kunst. Das ist Vorkan. Sag ich dir in 20 Minuten. Nächster Trade, nächster Timer, auf dem du jetzt wissen musst, okay, warte mal, wo ist Smash, wo ist Pace denn? Den Roam-Timer kannst du riechen.
Next fight might be on these grubs. You can see Lucid's pathing top side right now.
Oh, ja, bitte. Okay.
And grubs for this Jax is going to feel.
Heißt, sie haben vor Fun eine Wave Botlane gedroppt.
Absolutely want to fight for it. It's
okay.
Kaisa, if she does show up to the fight, she is in mid right now.
Oh, Smash auf der Nicht-Mitte hier, das finde ich interessant. Doch, jetzt, okay. Ja, ist natürlich sehr geil, dieser Trade. Du musst hier nicht All-In, sondern du musst ihn rauschunken, weil du weißt genau, dass ein Grubby-Trade kommt. Das ist sehr gut von Shibu. Kein All-In forcen, aber einfach ready sein. Auch hier, das ist illegal, oder nicht? Von T1? Ah, ne, ist aber... Ah, okay. Lock ist so lächerlich OP.
With the killer instinct was already there. Shiu making his way in though, and Faker's in a lot of trouble. The flash, the Grandmaster's might, and down goes the lock. But still, the shockwave connecting onto two. Shiu is dead, but D+ still looking good in the fight. His career flashes away. 2 for 2 so far. But the Orb is still doing a lot of work. But Pace is still.
Also, dieser Lock-Champion, ne? Dass der da komplett gewone-shot hat, ist so krank. Oh, 4. Shot?
Oh. Gonna be able to get at least one back, so a 3 for 3 as it stands.
I think the big winner though in this fight is T1 because this is Paze with 3 kills. He's 800 gold ahead. He picks up a Kraken Slayer off the fight, and he is just now an incredibly high power in a game where that's not necessarily supposed to happen. And he's still got 64 stacks of his call to go through. So now T1 make the call here.
Schau, diesen OP, das ist so insane. Wo sind die HP von Lucid da gerade hin?
With the Vi here, and it's the correct call with Baker's ultimate there. They're going to be able to get the execute. But now they're super split, right? And she was able to find Faker here, has the amazing flash counter strike, which also gets a second stun onto the Olaf. Olaf goes too low. Smash is able to get over the wall. Smash can't get over the wall here. This fight is a complete wash because he won't escape the sweep from Keria. Super high value as well as they commit flashes on the chase, and then Smash here is able to get some strays, but or just one stray I should say there, but still a disaster for D+, I would say, but at least they got something out of it. They didn't get the full 3 grubs, they got the 2, and they did get that additional kill there.
Wie Q-Kuna und Lockler 1, glaube 8 Sekunden oder sowas, 9 Sekunden.
I think the game state
ja, 9 wahrscheinlich.
The same, but with T1 like with a little bit more of an advantage, I guess. But it's still top side belongs to DK, bottom side belongs to T1. The problem is, T1 have been pretty good at playing around Pace. This guy kind of just wins games. He's real good at it. And this Kaisa, we saw Taeun on it just recently, really be able to carry in the later game as well. And I don't think the Jhin is really going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with Pace on 3 items, for example. I just don't think it's going to happen.
We've only seen a very select few players play Kaisa to success this year. I think the one that comes to mind for most is Teddy, to be honest, but it's a pick that when you get ahead, which often doesn't happen because you lose lane because it's a Kaisa draft, it means that you have to make these really incredibly complex plays later on, or the enemy team has to make a mistake and gift you over some kills, or you make that crazy outplay like Teddy does and get a quadra kill. But Paze is just like, I'm playing easy mode on Kaisa. I already did, the hard part is gone. I don't even have to worry about all that stuff. I'm ready to play make right now, and my team is in a strong position to fight for Dragon. They have the first Dragon already. They're going to get double Dragon very likely off of the prio that Paze still holds down here, basically by himself. And look at all the deep vision they have. There's no contest opportunity. So yes, the Jax is a problem, but the rest of the 80% of the game is a larger one for D+.
It certainly is. Well, Curtain Call is going to come in here as Ona gets to the back of the pit. The Dragon taking a lot of damage as Lucid comes in. Will he be able to get the steal? That's the question. Down to 630, and it is going to be Ona that locks it down. Magnustorm though for Korea is pretty good.
Er gibt einen Reset für Lockner.
Lucid to go down first. Showmaker.
So OP.
And down goes the
So OP, Bro. Also ich weiß gar nicht wann Lucid, Space Base Adekate Bomb, ja. Ich weiß gar nicht wann Lucid ulten sollte, tatsächlich. Wo ist meine Shockwave? Hä? Da? Erinnerst du sie? Ja, also ich weiß nicht, wann du als Centaur ulten solltest, um den Lock von dir wegzuhalten. Ich glaube gar nicht.
It's 1,000 gold the advantage for Shio on this Jax, and it's a volatile, game here where you can definitely come.
Weil, okay, wir schauen jetzt mal auf Lucid.
This is all that Smash can do in this fight, really, is try to keep them at arm's length here. It's a really easy smite here for the...
Also da ist halt for fun einfach mal kurz Hälfte seiner HP weg, right? I guess er hätte ulten können, als die Bayer auf ihn draufspringen mit der Ult. Macht's einen Unterschied? Wesig nicht.
The most fed member in the entire game is this Kaisa, who has a Kraken Slayer, and she's free hitting, so it's not a good...
Ja, und das wird dieser Stormraiser-Bild mit Jhin. Was ja irgendwo auch fair ist, natürlich, er spielt gegen Olaf, aber irgendwo ist halt auch nicht fair, weil er macht kein Damage, Mann. Das heißt, er braucht, also okay, ich brauche kein Rapid Fire Third, sondern ich brauche ein LDR als drittes bei Smash.
Yeah, he's looking absolutely massive. Storm Surge already done. A lot of the time we do see very early Lich Banes to come on through, but this Storm Surge that's been the development more recently is really doing a bunch of work. Execution is the name of the game, and Faker already 3-1-1, getting a couple of those executions so far in this game. As Smash does complete his cull, as you just saw on the screen, and so Paze's lead is...
Darf man Lichbane first? Ich sehe viel. Ich sehe Lichbane first, ich sehe Storm Raiders, Storm Surge first und ich sehe auch Rocket Belt first.
You can see that cull completion even on the graph.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. I do think that the next fight over this Herald could be game-defining. It's the fight that I think at this point is still very winnable for D+, because it's on the top side of the map, where they have a lot of control. Both top laners do have teleport now.
Yep.
Wen soll ich heute bei SK anfragen? Wunder oder Mickey?
Maybe Keria is caught.
Wunder hatte ich letztes Mal beim Loser-Interview, Mickey beim Winner-Interview. Das ist... Es ist nicht... Ne, da kommt Double TP rein. Oh, das wird ein All-Out-Fight mit dem Olaf, der kommt. Ne, es ist fucking lost. Oh mein... Okay. Nee.
Leap strike denied. Paze gets even more, and Faker is picking up so many kills in these fights. 3-0-5 on the Kai'Sa, and Faker grabs another kill.
This is a disaster for D+. It's not how they wanted it to go. It's a circus again.
I mean...
Kind for T1. As it turns out, it's not just...
Oh, ich hasse Wolf so sehr.
Who is the... Come at the king, you best not miss. It's Keria too. They get so much lockdown on him, and look at this. Ults here and gets over the wall. So now you've used so many resources to try to kill a Camille, and then Owner's up here in the front line. Both top laners TP in. Doran's here first, though, and he's the scarier one in a scrappy fight like this. Shiu needs a little bit more setup, and the attempt here from the...
Also, der ist schon sehr... Also, der Typ ist komplett insane, Pace. Er ist komplett insane.
Fights have been looking for D+ every single time. T1's lead increases here.
Oh, dear. This could be dangerous for Shia. They're going to look to finish off this turret and then finish off the Jax. Can he kill Doran in the meantime?
Ja, das Game ist komplett over.
Ladies and gentlemen, is no!
And they're getting the Herald on the top side. I guess that's something, because the Herald wasn't taken in that previous fight. It wasn't spawned yet.
Oh my god.
But it is very, very messy here. Now let's see what D+ are able to do with this Herald, because they can maybe use it to win a dragon fight here. They got a big wave.
2 items, Wolf.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think of the positives for D+ right now. There's a lot of good things for T1 right now, at least.
Yeah.
Look, they have a Herald. Maybe they could try to use it either in as a combat Herald here if T1 overcommit, or perhaps just to get prio for this dragon. But it's just an Ocean Soul here that neither of these teams, I think, are ready to send the whole game over. But T1 hold all the cards right now.
I do think Ocean Soul is incredibly good for an Olaf. So I think D+ probably want to deny this if they can. Soul Point is always just so powerful anyway. As Owner with control of this brush, Smash may be in a little bit of danger, but Owner just going to back away as they do start off this dragon as it spawns. Faker shows up here, and Shiu is still extremely strong.
I think there's a really strong angle here for a fight for D+, because Paze has no flash, no cleanse. He has to stay so far back.
Information is pretty good here as well as they spot Carrier out, but he still goes in. Cease and desist into the backline. His Showmaker is engaged on Shockwave.
Ja. Und du kannst halt nichts machen. Also egal wer da geultet wird, du kannst nichts machen. Also, ja.
Yeah, I'm understanding these, like, the question mark pings that were coming out. What the hell happened up there? But two are dead as well from D+ on this bottom.
Du kannst nichts machen.
It's a disaster again as Lucid wants to come up here and get the Faker punish, and that's a lock. I think he's pretty quick. I think he's got a bit of mobility. I don't think you're gonna get him. Faker's gonna get out again. And Lucid's just gonna try to catch some of this jungle here as a bit of a consolation prize.
Oh my goodness. This is really.
Du kannst legit infeeden Level 1 auf Top. Es ist egal mit diesem Champion. Es ist so crazy, oder nicht? Es ist so crazy.
Just fell a bit too far behind earlier with some aggressive team fights, and then T1 run away with the game. T1 doesn't always scrap, but you don't want to scrap with T1 as Faker.
I mean, das war sehr gut gespielt.
And then he's like, you're dead. Yeah. Ults him in point blank range, and he's like, I will hit that threshold. I've got my Storm Surge. And I think Shiu, he knew he had to try to do something there, but there wasn't much he could do to engage. Ja,
also unplayable. Natürlich, also das war ja schon abzusehen, richtig, wer auch immer Camille ultet wird hier, Camille ultet wird, du kannst nicht gewinnen.
Their Jax is dead, not able to join the fight. But the snap engage, this dive comp is incredibly powerful, especially from ahead.
Yeah, and now Faker is actually building defensively. Pei's going aggressive onto Smash here, but the arm guard that Faker has is going to make life so much more difficult for D+, and he's getting closer and closer to just having a Zhonya, so he doesn't even need to worry about breaking it or anything like that at this stage. Smash has gone for the in 5 items I'm going to do damage build, and I don't think he's going to get there. I think this game is already kind of feeling on its last leg. 6,000 gold the lead for T1, and turrets has fallen all over the place.
When Faker gets an extra bit of durability, plus the zoning, which is completed, by the way, now. Yeah. It's no longer an arm guard. He will be able to get a second set of combos.
Ich finde den normalen Krakenbild wahrscheinlich besser. Einfach nur, weil ich glaube, dass Terminus insane ist.
The ability to burst him down when he goes in for his initial ult drop and combo, you can kill him quickly. So often he just kind of waits for the rest of the team to do the work, and then he's the finisher, he's the closer. But when you actually have a Zhonya's, you can be the starter.
Aber es kommt natürlich immer ganz drauf an, right? Also spielst du gegen keine Tanks, kann dieser W-One-Shot-Ding halt schon sehr gut sein.
Oh well, Lucid looking for an angle towards Faker here. Let's see whether he can outplay it as the Audacious Charge does come on through. There's the Purgatory. And Faker is going to then try and use that Ashen Pursuit to get himself out, but I don't think it's going to work. Eats the Grey Health, still goes down, and Lucid going to claim that kill. What are they getting on the cross map, though? That's the question. And the answer is Smash, as the cease and desist is going to come on in.
Ja, unplayable.
Didn't need to tell him twice. He is
Sie spielen auch relativ gut von Execution her, aber es ist so unplayable.
And that's a huge prize, considering they did not lose their turret to Herald. Herald is still in inventory, by the way. The one thing that D+ got this game hasn't even been used yet. They still have their turret up. They get the mid-turret heraldless on the cross map. And it's just a whole disaster here again. I mean, I keep using that word, but like, nothing is going right.
It's pretty disastrous, Wolf. I can completely understand.
I mean, this is, Carrier tries to rotate up and Faker calls off the play. You can see the moment on the minimap.
Ja, mich gegen Tankers, ja, halt nur nicht den highest DPS Red. Darum geht's eher. Also gegen Tanks ist halt dann der DPS vom Ding schon noch besser. Auch wenn der Punkt natürlich vollkommen korrekt ist. Dürfen die Pro-Player Rose haben, das zum Beispiel schon mal? Ja, dürftest du. Okay, bombastisch.
Yeah, and she's a very good win more champion, always has been. And I also think
Cloud.
the Vi was picked 3rd here. They already had a bit of a draft identity to understand how this was going to work, as Lucid goes in onto Pei's, and then goes in onto Shelly, starts doing donuts, and decides
that's how they use the Rift Herald.
Yeah, this Herald is just going to do nothing at all.
Die müssen es submitten, ne? Was?
Yeah. That's the state of not really understanding what they're
Geil. You will play in the roles we designed for you. You will have fun doing it.
I mean, we're not going to give them too much beef for it, but it is a bit problematic. Showmaker's also pretending to be Ryze and Cassiopeia, but is instead a Clockwork Lady.
Mit, ich glaube, sein Spieler hat Bock auf Interview heute.
Going to be quite tanky and will be able to avoid death from Faker relatively effectively.
I think at this point, for D+, you have to build like this as Showmaker, and you have to hope that even the arms way and play greedily, play riskily, that you can have one shockwave that sets up a realm.
Glaub in Win, ja. Okay, gewinnt ihr gegen Shifters.
Because you have to win this game off a mistake from T1. If they're too clumped,
Du musst eh ja sagen.
that one moment.
Du musst eh ja sagen. Okay, dann ich requeste Mickey heute.
Combo.
Ich requeste Mickey, bei Vitality bin ich am überlegen, ob ich Linzes eventuell requeste.
Yeah, but I just don't think they have the damage, right? Especially if this Ocean Soul comes in for T1. The opening salvo needs...
Ja, wir machen das. Wir machen Linzes für Vitality Series und Mickey Risk. Ja.
So there's only one cleanse they need to worry about. But I don't know.
Oder okay, gehe ich davon. Okay, guck mal, die Sache ist, gehen wir davon aus, wann bist du vor Ort? Nächste Woche Montag, also kommenden Montag. Die Frage ist, gehe ich davon aus, dass SK gegen Shifters gewinnt? Ich sollte. Da kann ich auch Wunder requesten.
Doran taking a lot of damage, does pull the trigger as now the exhaust on a Faker is decent.
Ja, unplayable.
Just explode. Smash gets encircled completely, and Shiu's just wondering where the heck his teammates went. There's a counter strike. It should be a quadra here for Faker, as Pays will be taken out. But that is all. That's the only thing they get for the ace for T1.
They will get Ocean Soul, and they will likely be able to open up this mid turret if they want to commit to it. But they can also just use the prio. They have to go straight to Baron.
Du musst Wunder requesten, wenn du safe loses. Okay, gegen KC. Gegen KC request ich Wunder nochmal. Oh fuck, I didn't know you were gonna lose today, man. Sorry again. Geht.
23 and a half. As watch you in this fight, like it's can't get out here, and then he's like, well, when they go on Showmaker, he'll shock blast, and I'll follow. So he's like, I'm waiting for your call, Showmaker, on this one. This Baker's still denying him entry, right? When the carry of eye engage comes through again, she was like, I'm waiting for that shockwave.
LCK Series ist durch außerdem.
Shockwaves, he just leaves right away. He's like,
Er kriegt POG.
at least is able to get a kill back here, and it is a shutdown.
Ja, ohne Engage waren solid.
1100 gold goes over to him on that play. So that's something, you know.
Pace kannst du auch requesten.
There you go.
He got that arm guard that I was talking about. That, you know, as soon as you get a bunch of money, you can pick that one up. He has that. And again, we're going back to square one here, where D+ have to go for some sort of Hail Mary and look for a Wombo. Maybe even starting the Baron if T1 back here away and looking for that kind of crazy turn could be the way to steal this game away. As Shiu has top damage in the game.
Just hasn't really seemed to matter as he spent a lot of the game just smacking Doran around.
Weiß ich. Lock Champion gegen Orianna. Sieht sehr, sehr free aus.
But it hasn't really...
Also ganz kurz, ist es eigentlich normal, dass du von deiner Fluglinie 400 E-Mails bekommst, so die letzten 4 Tage vorm Flug? Aber also wirklich, was soll das? Du fliegst, ich fliege, ja.
But I just don't know whether it's going to be enough to save Shiu, who's on the other side of the fight, just dying. Ona going to Volt break him, and down goes the Jax once again.
You almost killed the Olaf, but he had flash and you didn't. And so, didn't even get anything on that side of the fight.
And it's a 9,000.
Brauchen wir 5 Uhren auf dem Flug, boah, 5 Rolex.
100 gold lead. I don't know, I had to follow up with something. Yeah. So they get the Baron, they push it to 10k, they're going to get this inner. And now we're just reading gold leads. And we're reading the obituary of D+, so there is no way back in this game anymore. Even if you get a Wombo combo, I don't think you can win a fight. Like you said, the damage is so minuscule.
And this is one of my favorite things as well, because I feel like this has been a plan from T1s from the very beginning of the draft, right? With their ban strategy, it is bait the Orianna pick, and then use it to give Locke a lane that Faker is very comfortable playing. I don't necessarily feel like this is like Locke favored or anything, but it's very obvious that Faker is super confident.
Das Matchup ist in fact sehr Locke favored. Also nicht in Lane direkt, aber das Matchup ist sehr Locke favored.
Doesn't have flash to follow Doran there. Doran just steals back up. Now they've got Ocean Soul. I've had it for a little while here.
Faker shouldn't have been given the nail gun, Wolf, as Lucid is in a lot of trouble. Shockwave does come on through, though, and Faker will be shut down.
Wie hätte DK hier eine Chance gehabt? Also rein von Fights her sah das immer relativ unplayable aus, to be fair. Also wirklich sehr, sehr, sehr unplayable. Ich glaube, beim ersten Herald-Fight schon absurd, wie viel Damage der Lock hatte.
Doran really has just become a behemoth in the later stages of this one.
Ein heißt halt schwierig.
Gold.
Weil ich glaube, auch später Smash kann halt nicht spielen, richtig. Also normalerweise, okay, von Olaf vielleicht flashst du weg und kannst wegrennen mit deinem Movespeed-Bild, aber dann kommt halt die Camille-Ulti noch drauf und was machst du dann? Schwierig. Das ist so schwierig.
And I don't know whether D+ are going to be able to do anything about it. Doran does take a lot of damage from Showmaker here. She was so mad. He's so ready to just fight whatever's in front of him.
Yeah, he really is, but unfortunately for him, I don't think he's going to ever have another chance in this game. And T1, I mean, they haven't been able to end the game. There's an Orianna on the other side, so the wave clear is pretty intense, but this was a bit overzealous from Faker. Look at how far away Keria is. I think if Keria is a little bit closer here, this is so easy. But he just gets Crescent Guard denied, or the follow-up is Crescent Guard denied as Showmaker shows up here. So, I mean, it's pretty close by, but it just doesn't matter, you know? Like, if this was a game-losing play, people would criticize Faker for, oh, maybe he should have realized, but like, it's just not. Yeah, he's not even laughing probably in the Death Chamber. He probably doesn't care at all.
It's a 3,000 gold lead for just Faker. Over Showmaker right now, this Orianna is so far behind here in this game as they are going to look for an engage onto FaZe. He's going to go golden, but I don't know whether that's going to be enough to save him. As down he will go, Dissonance is going to be there to finish him off.
I mean, if a few more of these mistakes happen, then we can start talking about it.
Is there an elephant on a ball?
Ja, wird nicht passieren.
Somewhere in backstage, like I'm a little bit interested in how this one's sort of moving right now.
Well, I think in this moment, FaZe might not have been able to correctly breathe fire.
Oh no. Well, Doran is just going to look to dive on top of Showmaker, and that is going to be a mistake. And he just runs his way out of there. Successful escape, but he is going to have to avoid a few of these shots. Owner just gets in front of the Olaf and is able to defend him.
That would have been very comical if that still somehow killed him, but bounty gold, you know? Elder's up in 40 seconds.
Yeah. This is problematic. FaZe is going to be up in 5, so they will be able to get together. But
Es ist ein unplayable Fight, Freunde. Lasst euch nicht von den Castern verarschen. Sie können nicht, der Fight ist nicht playable.
Who is a shellacking, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, unfortunately, there's just too many buttons for FaZe to outplay there. Like, he has Cleanse and Flash. His Flash was amazing, but if it was just the one engage, then D+ wouldn't have gone for it, right? They had all the follow-up there, and he didn't have any friends nearby. And it was a good play from D+. I would say if you're FaZe, you're just trying to maximize your advantage in that moment. And
Holy fuck, er hat wieder Mortal Man gekauft. Amen, du kannst ja. Mein Chef hat 40er als Ergebnis.
He does have TP, but won't even need it. It looks like
Das ist
here.
krank.
Now let's see who they kill this time with the Vi Camille engage. That's the same, you know, rinse and repeat we've been seeing for every single objective fight is Keria and Owner. Support jungle, kill the carry. And the carry it's not really been the Jhin, it's been Showmaker they keep killing because he's the bigger threat in this game.
I think she was also
Und auch Shivo hat kein Sonja fertig. Auch im Play.
Is looking to get in behind D+. So far it's working. They do have decent defensive vision. They are going to find him out right now as he makes his way in. Ashio is just looking to push this wave forward, put the pressure on as the Elder is getting started by T1.
D+
Decent
really
vision.
Yeah,
decent vision here for D+ right now. But you can see Faker and Keria making their way over the Purgatory.
Hard engage kommt.
Alongside that Hextech ultimatum is so dangerous as there's the cease and desist. They do try and flash their way.
There's the combo!
He's going to be the target. The combo in the backline though is massive.
Ja, kein Damage right.
Down go the carries. Lucid is pushed away. She was still at full health, but he's missing all of his teammates. Lucid going to try and escape, but there's a counter-strike and a dream here for this Jax. And unfortunately, it's going to turn into a nightmare.
Literal Infeeder auf Olaf. Und es mattert nicht, es ist so krank. Es ist genuinely krank, wie broken dieser Champ ist.
More upset than CV Max about that team fight is Valdez as the blast cone gets phased away. Gio made the play, they had the combo, but they were just too far behind. The fact that at 10,000 gold behind, D+ got that fight in the first place is I think what the T1 coaching staff might be taking a look at after this game, but ultimately they still win it. They're so far ahead.
Und Olaf genervt, also ich erwarte ihn auf der... Jetzt noch nicht gebencht? Ja, anscheinend wieder nicht. Ich gehe stark von einem 17er Nerf aus, ja. Ich glaube, alles außer Nerf auf Punkt 17 wäre verrückt.
Even though FaZe did the boom boom, he had some flashy plays on the Kaise, was given those kills early and took over the game. It would not have been possible without the synergy from Keria and Owner this entire game. And I think for those wondering if we'd see Owner as mainstay after the Painter sub, This is the kind of game you want to see.
Yeah, I also think that it might have been a bit personal as well from Oni. You know, he's just like, coming back like, this is my rightful place. I am sorry, everyone, but you're going to have to get used to be sitting in this chair. And don't worry, Ono, we were used to it. We got a little bit confused when that happened.
We like Painter, but you know.
Yeah.
Würdest du sagen, dass du ein guter Küsser bist?
He's a great player. We've been casting him throughout
Eine Weile her, Bruder, keine Ahnung.
It's just unfortunate. You know, it's like being Lucid when Canyon was the jungler. Like, what's she gonna do? I don't know.
The comeback game of a century, you know, it's of the century. It's a big one. As look at the damage share across T1 is almost just dead even.
It's crazy that Doran did as much damage as he did, but I don't think we were very surprised that they were going to go for the Olaf pick. The Kled ban was a bit of a dead giveaway. D+ decided not to pick away the Olaf.
Richard Walden, ja.
The Jax just didn't quite work.
Und der will dann wieder umsonst was von mir.
Frog yesterday. But ladies and gentlemen, we are blessed because this is the LCK. It's a best of 3. D+ have a chance to even out the series. We'll see whether they can after this break and the space to break down this game.
So kriminell, dass Lucid hier One-Shot war. Ich glaube, du bist überdurchschnittlich gut. Can't wait to find out next week. Ah. Chillig. Chillig. Dum, 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 dum.
나 쳐야 나와 얘네.
시작 시작. 좀 더 끌어야 돼.
끌어.
끌고 그냥 쌈 건다.
확인. 2, 5초.
내 손치 한번 태워줘.
오케이. 이렇게 일단. 땀 보는 거야?
쌈 볼게. 오케이.
형이.
오케이. 진 받고 나. 나 간이 있어. 진 잡았어.
잡아. 꼬리 잡았거든. 뒤에 봐줘. 안 줘.
미드 라크. 나 짜고 쫓아갈게.
섹스 사면 이거 라인. 잡았어? 미드 할게. 나 짜고 그럴게.
짜고 지금 못 가.
Naja, Olaf ist weg. Klasse. Olaf ist raus.
이때 얘기지?
일단
Jetzt Lucian Medio Frage.
간편하게, 편리하게, 앱에서 한 번에 포인트 정리까지. 우리 이야기는 계속될 테니까. 우리 틴틴.
Morgen Big vs. Spirit. Ja, das Ding ist over. Loslassen. So, ich mach mal kurz mein Porridge. Bis gleich.
Red Bull gives you wings. 쓱싹 씻고 바르고 깎고 깎고 면도 쉽게 가자. 부드럽게 쓱 매끈하게 싹 면도 쓱싹 해치웠다. 질레트 랩 스팁 클렌징 바 쓱싹 씻고 바르고 깎고 깎고 면도 쉽게 가자. 부드럽게 쓱 매끈하게 싹 면도 쓱싹 해치웠다. 질레트 랩 스팁 클렌징 바.
When I was a player, if I was to like make a misplay, maybe it's my mouse, maybe it's my armrest, something feels wrong. If you were at home, you wouldn't do that.
The Infinite Precision Armrest is part of the larger Circulab on Stage standard initiative aimed to bring your home or training room settings to the tournament stage.
이제 저뿐만 아니라 다른 선수들도 세팅을 더 원활하게 할 것 같고
가장 편안할 때 더 강력한 플레이가 자연스럽게 나옵니다.
Every sky is a line I'm drawn. Cut by cut, mark by mark, my name forever in the stone.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the space, and it is the circus that is in town. T1 win game 1 over D plus Kia at their LCK Roadshow. I'm Digon, joined by Hawaiian pizza lover Daniel Ox Harrison and pineapple pizza lover Wadid.
I'm glad you distinguish them as different things.
Yes.
That's the important thing here.
They're different things, right, Wadid? They're different?
They're the same thing.
We'll talk about this.
Same thing.
Chat, we need you to weigh in now. Is it different or is it the same? As we dive into the draft from this last one, because it was a very interesting draft, it differed away from the normal bans and the priorities that we expected to see here.
Yeah, so when Camille sort of came out, Shen was one of the really popular matches into it, but also Leona did super well when we had, EWC and MSI. Leona was having a lot of success in the Camille. So I found it interesting they went for the Rel instead here. For D+, I feel like the Rel also didn't offer a ton into this team. Like, one of the things with Leona is a Q cooldown so short. She's very good into melee champions, of which there is a lot on the side of T1 diving in. I also feel like just when you have a Jhin in this situation, this T1 composition dives in so fast, so aggressively, it's very hard to defensively play and get set up with your ultimate when there's a Kai'Sa flying in, a Locke flying in, a Camille. I just think T1 had much easier sort of game plan with how they approach fights. And really, I feel like D+, even though their comp seems more like that traditional front to back, I just think they didn't have the front line of the space to make it work.
I just really like the Kai'Sa pick here from T1, not only because it fits with the team composition, but also I think it's really good into Jhin. When Jhin is not playing with the enchanters, it's really hard to punish Kai'Sa in lane. Maybe you guys remember when Kai'Sa was picked into Ziggs. I think it's literally the same idea that they had. And I think like against Jhin, it's even better for Kai'Sa. You have more space to do something, a better team fighter, and you're better late game scaling. So it was such a great pick by Pace right there.
Yeah, a lot of information for teams to glean from this one in terms of the priority that T1 showed in this unique draft that D+ showed off. But in terms of gameplay, we had 2 fights on the top side of the map that really dictated the outcome of this one.
So I think a big reason T1 did so well here is if you look at Fake, he actually predicts the flash with his ultimate, immediately takes Lucid out, and having already cleared the jungler out of this fight makes a big difference. Also, we see that it takes a while to take him down, and then Doran also flashes in to get this last bit of damage before he goes down. I think these little factors just turned it into T1's favor so they can push forward and clean up. And the point I was making about the gym before, Smash is trying to get in position to ult, can only pop it now after the fight is done. Yes, he gets an exit kill, but it's not an ult that really changes how the fight goes.
If Jin could position himself in a back position, then I think his ultimate
Mike.
changed the fight. But as you mentioned, I think that's just because of the T1 team comp, right? I think they're just dashing in, jumping on you all the time. So it's really hard to get into the position to use the Jin ultimate here.
I mean, we've hammered home. This meta is about the early skirmish. Both teams looking for it, but T1 execute a little bit better with their composition. And then do it yet again here in our second one. Keep your eyes on Paze here, who's just tracking the timing of the Jack. Shiwu was about to get out of control.
I mean, this game, like many games we've had from T1 so far this season, was just kind of a masterclass from Paze. Spacing really well, cleanses the exhaust, constantly getting damage out when he can. And then we see this moment where Shiwu actually hunts for him and he just really...
Nein, Mikes Take mit Olaf ist einfach geil.
Completely breaks his ankles.
Für jemanden, der so regulär mein Stream schaut, so einen Take zu Olaf zu haben, das ist komplett krank, ist krank.
So you can clean up the Jacks. This was just flawless play.
I want to show this Kai'Sa clip to everyone who plays Kai'Sa in solo queue. He was holding his ultimate till the end. I think, yeah, this guy, by the way, he plays AD carry in solo queue, and you gotta learn from him the way how you...
Ist heute EEC oder morgen?
I think he never goes aggressively when the fight begins. I think most of the Kai'Sa players goes in with the ultimate, but I think that kind of danger position. So I feel like Pace did such a great job.
That's so sweet of you.
Ulti out at the end.
Morgen Sonntag.
So many Kai'Sas just ult straight in, immediately get focused on one shot.
Like Digon?
Yeah. Spacing was so good that you should learn from this Digon, really.
I will do my best to. And it wasn't just Paze who had the moment. Doran with a couple of kills over at the Drake fight. The solo kill on the top side of the map by Faker. T1 was putting on a show. Let's see if they close it out in 2, or will D+ battle back here? Well, I'm not entirely sure, Digon. I think this is going to be a tough one for D+. I'm sure they thought that their draft was going to work out. It felt like they knew what was coming. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough in order to deal with what T1 put out there. I think Faker also deserves a bit of a shout out for
Frankfurt, die können gar nichts. Und Evi kann genauso wenig, by the way. Evi ist mindestens genauso schlecht.
So many kills throughout the game.
Null Kontrolle.
Definitely played a large
Null Kontrolle, null Skill.
for D+, but
Null. Eigentlich der Drafts funktionieren, aber halt sind zu unskilled für die Drafts.
clean the slate and go into a Game 2 draft where those tools will not be available for one. I think you still got to ban the Bard. You probably still got to ban the Nocturne. Well, there's some flexibility here for D+ now, and also they don't have to play around Orianna as a concept, even though they were the ones who played it and went with it. Like that creates a huge weight in draft, and it's rare for Faker to drop the Orianna, but twice he's done it and picked Lock into it, as you mentioned on the cast, and they had a great plan. Not only was it a great draft for Vi, but it was a Vi Camille draft that had a Kai'Sa angle.
Ist normal, dass man anfängt, T1 zu hate-watchen? Ja.
So wrong on the top side for Grubs. I think was where the game was ultimately really decided, because Smash is 2 ahead there, and then they can't win any more subsequent fights. Maybe D+ should have just played a little bit more slowly. Maybe just said, look, Doran's behind, we can play through bottom side. There are a lot of different things they could have done, but you know, they didn't, and T1 outplayed them, and T1 won game number 1, and they're looking very dominant right now.
They really are. And I feel like exactly what you were talking about is what was ringing true, right? They were playing around the weaker side of the map, and that was playing right into T1's hands. Even though it's a Kai'Sa, right, you don't necessarily skyrocket to power very early in the game. They kind of let it happen by leaving Shiu on an island with all of their gold, and that was a bit of a problem. Let's see, though, as they pivot moving towards this second game of the series, can they bring us to 3? That is the big question. And they have first pick this time around. They're going to ban something away first. I think Poppy still going to be banned. I think Bard's still going to be banned. And Bard is going to be indeed the first one to be taken away.
Achso, meinst du denn Balance, Druid Nerfs und Retail? Ja, finde ich so großer Schwachsinn. Warum sollte man die noch weiter nerven?
So what are really starting to rise, especially
Fand sie größtenteils eigentlich balanced, selten über der Schwelle, wo man sagen würde, okay, ja.
I think that you're going to see that Bard, you're going to see that Nocturne, like I said.
Geil, wenn aber auch so für MK in Madrid, boah. Was glaubst du, dass die sich qualifizieren? Odds hoch oder nicht? Wäre extrem funny, wenn sie es nicht würden. Dann wird die Arena nämlich schon richtig schön leer sein. Wäre schon sehr funny. Navi-Game ist ein bisschen wegweisend, oder?
T1 have been drafting most of the time through their bottom duo. Didn't happen in game 1. They'll ban the Lucian again. So, not going to be that bottom duo. But with no Nocturne, I think Lulu probably pretty low stocks here as well in this one, but we will have to wait and see. I imagine this is going to be a Rise ban for T1.
I would hope so. Otherwise, I feel like that should be.
Ich kann ficken, glaubst du, die sind eher so im Kackstuhl?
They have a different idea, and it's CVMax. He often has a different idea. But the Syndra is going to be the choice.
That's very Showmaker flavored.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like that Rise first pick is getting better and better.
Ja, okay, aber dann kommt eine Anivia und dann kannst du wieder nicht gewinnen. Ich verstehe es nicht.
It is Showmaker, so I understand the respect.
Diesen Dauergas auf dem Stuhl.
But I do think the Rise was a better choice.
Ausgeliehen oder schon selbst gekauft? At this point.
I respect this because Pays is ridiculous on the Ezreal, and Smash has had some great performances on this one. It was part of the reason, I believe, if memory serves, that they were able to win EWC.
Yeah, it is. I mean, remember, he had that true shot barrage.
That was it.
I lost my voice into Gen G there. The Rise will go over as a result, though. And the other thing is that it's Faker's Rise, so that's...
Welche Elo? Die in dem Game hier relativ hoch, würde ich sagen.
I don't think this is a good idea this early in the draft, but if you want to have fun, then it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think this is a hover, and I'm not going to get baited. I'm not going to get baited, Wolf. They're going to lock him back.
Echt, es gibt ein neues Chunky, das ich probieren wollte. Scheiße, das Bananen-Chunky, aber ich hab's natürlich wieder nicht da oben. Grrr, das heißt kein Push für mich bis nach dem Game. Grrr.
You got Ezreal.
You did.
And now Lucian's going to give the return hover.
There you go.
And then pick Jarvan, probably. But we'll see. Lee Sin also available.
I like the Lee Sin option. Looks like maybe I don't know whether Lee Sin Talia feels that good.
Yeah, I don't think there's a mid pairing right now left available that you like with the Lee Sin.
Yeah.
So instead we're just going to grab the Ezreal Karma before that can be taken away. So you're winning bottom lane. You know that much.
Well, this is the thing. We saw this picked yesterday, and it wasn't actually able to be played through. And it was largely because on the other side of the rift there was a Caitlyn Bard situation. This was game 1, KMDRX versus BNK Fearex.
Das Free von DK finde ich schon mal deutlich angenehmer als Game 1.
But we'll see whether D+ can play to it a little bit better than what we saw yesterday.
Is Carry okay, we had Carry on camera. I was like, is he pulling something out weird here as a counter pick before the second phase? I don't think so. It'll be Doran's most played champion of the tournament in Ambessa.
So and now they get to protect both of these picks with a ban each, or they could go all in to protecting one of them.
I'm starting to wonder, though, what is Showmaker going to play here? We saw Lissandra yesterday. I think that works well with the Jarvan, but I don't think you...
I don't think it works as
well. Weil es definitiv Renekton Mann, richtig?
I feel like you kind of want to have a hyper carry.
Like, I think Showmaker could play Ahri here, but like you said, then you'll have the hyper carry. If they're planning on just picking Victor here for Showmaker or something like that, I know he's been great on the Victor, I just don't think it's going to come together the way they want, because they're playing a double globals here. You need something that's powerful, something that can control the lane.
He's going to play Talia. He's going to play Talia. That's what I have in my brain. That's what the voices are telling me, because it can sort of match.
Ja, Anivia wäre ganz geil. Die Frage ist, ob sie Double Toplane bannen. Anivia für DK wäre sehr nice. Anivia oder Victor finde ich beides okay.
Fight its way out, I think, of what's left available here. Maybe they ban Nahus and Lulu, and they're scared of the Lulu in this draft with the Ambessa there, but...
I wouldn't mind it. I feel like the Lulu could certainly work.
I don't think you have to ban Vayne here to protect the Ambessa, but they probably will.
I feel like a Vayne ban feels like the tactic.
Talia Ezreal ist für mich so, wow.
Talia is coming out.
Stark, Poldi.
They knew it.
They had the voices too, Wolf.
They knew it.
I feel so much less alone. It's beautiful. Okay.
I feel like you could look at it two ways. You could be like, oh, I guess I'm not the smartest one. I'm not the only one who knew. But I think also you just look more smart now.
Hey.
Because they also knew.
Well, I mean, I'm not smart. It's the voices, Wolf.
Oh, okay,
the voices were smart.
So is it a Lulu ban, or is there another play here? Is there another plan? Maybe Caitlyn? Because Caitlyn Lux is scary. We don't want to deal with that.
I wouldn't mind the Caitlyn ban, actually. But Yunara going to be taken away instead. Not even going to worry about the whole Lulu angle. They're just going to ban that Yunara away. Now we're going to reveal half of T1's
Taze
bottom
is
lane.
like, you know, it's not that meta, but I once beat this very team playing a lot of Zeri. I don't think he's going to play
Zeri Yumi?
Zeri Lulu? Lucian Nami?
Oh, God, no.
Lucian's banned, and they already picked Ezreal, but Valdez is safe. However, I don't think that's necessarily going to see. I think they should have banned Caitlyn here.
I mean, Caitlyn
It's
Lux.
Keria. Like,
Caitlyn Lux feels pretty good.
it's Keria. They have point-and-click CC with the Pantheon to set up bindings.
And they don't even need to set up bindings. It's Keria. He just hits him.
That's
He's
true.
ridiculous. But let's see what D+ are going to have as the answer.
Vayne feels pretty good, but you don't have great engage. You only have the Jarvan. If you want to just play Vayne into this, it's risky. You could pick Gnar if
Vayne
you're confident
Victor?
into it. Like, ooh, the Aatrox actually goes pretty hard. I kind of like that pick the most. I didn't really have it in mind, but it's a pick that allows you to brawl with this, Karma setup. I like this pick a lot here in this draft.
I'm kind of into it, especially with the fact that you have the Karma there as well to speed him up. Get him
Am besser Ulti Suppression into Stun, glaube ich. Also die hat beides.
into the rise, but I
Aatrox Pick ist gut. Ich mag die Comp von DK, to be honest.
play
Wie das ohne wieder back? Keine Ahnung.
exactly right.
And it gives you the ability to have one more piece of engage in a draft that's running a Karma. I think that D+ really fixed this draft. Like, I didn't think they were necessarily going to be able to figure it out once that Taliyah was banned, but they were able to do it. And I shouldn't have been surprised, because it's Showmaker, one of the most iconic Twisted Fate players of all time. I don't think Caitlyn needs to shoot more far, but Keria disagrees.
I mean, Ulti von Milio hier ist diesem Value.
That's kind of good, but you also have the ultimate. So when Showmaker does show up and throws out the gold card, there's an option, but instead
Also,
going
ich finde den DK Draft
what they want.
nicht verkehrt.
Oh yeah.
That's what we wanted. That's what we expected. As the draft comes together, I think with team
Traue ich denen zu gewinnen, das ist eine andere Sache, aber ja.
like not one pick from their side was surprising. And for us, I think we were somewhat surprised by the Aatrox to come out for Shiu and then Showmaker pulling out Twisted Fate because they're less meta, they're less common. But with these players and their mastery on them, it makes perfect sense. And D+, I think, not only ended up getting a really nice draft here, but a draft that works incredibly well for these 5 players. I mean, Smash on Ezreal, Career's Karma has been very good. It is a volatile bottom lane, but it's a tough one for them now. They put so many resources in that Karma and still walked into the Caitlyn Lux.
And
see if they can win it anyways.
This is the thing that's really interesting to me. Like, I just hope that we're glued to the bottom lane for like the first 10 minutes. Because I think that is going to show so much about how this game is going to go. Because D+ put so much into the bottom lane winning. And Caitlyn Lux really does struggle to lose in the early stages of the game. And I feel like Ezreal Karma are really going to have to play perfectly in order to make this one work. And I find that weird to say, right? Because it's such a powerful lane.
You thought you had the free win. And, and FaZe and Keria said no.
And the way
Showmaker mit eigenem Skin.
play this is just so incredibly oppressive as well. So I cannot wait to see what is going to happen there towards the bottom side of the map. Let's get onto the Rift for game number 2. All right, T1 fans, definitely a lot louder, but that is kind of what happens when it is the T1 home ground. And so we'll just have to see whether D+ can do what they did in France, right? They did this. It was a pretty blue crowd. And Showmaker is going to gold card the heck out of that melee minion. And he absolutely did. Nicely done. Korea avoids the first Lucent Singularity. That is maybe something here.
See what they can do with this lane. Obviously, every single Mantra Q needs to have high value. That is the name of the game for this lane. Smash will get hit by this one.
Oh man.
Und Botlane ist lost.
Space does get
Wo sind meine Mantra-Qs, Bruder? Warum noch kein Mantra-Q?
So Smash has
Weil da auch noch einen Power wollte, was denkst du?
Cleanse because of the bindings.
And because of the Pantheon as well.
Pantheon and
House
you are laning into
Außerdem.
Caitlyn,
Ich
who
hab zwar schon geantwortet auf die Frage, aber noch nicht gesagt.
So You know, Caitlyn's not really worried about Karma's minuscule CC, so as a result, this matchup actually also gets a little bit weak.
Ich weiß nicht, ob die Botlane so laufen sollte, aber ja. Man sagt, sie gewinnt das heute. Naja, heute oder 0-9.
To avoid that binding.
At least they are able to punish a little bit, but the snap trap in position, Smash able
Sehr
to
simpel.
collect that minion, and FaZe still with a pretty big advantage as he stacks this wave up. Shiu and Doran fighting this one quite a lot this stage, both of them taking grasp in this particular matchup. Seen a lot.
Es gab schon eine Series. 1-8 dann.
Recently, but not in.
Stimmt, gegen Janix haben sie gewonnen, ja, und dann 1-8.
The binding going to connect. There is a great Peacemaker. His career takes a lot of damage. Heal going to be exchanged. A little bit late. His carrier does throw that one out. But at least D+ is still alive. The problem is, I don't know whether that's the state of the lane that you want when it's Ezreal Karma, right? I feel like you are wanting to have that pressure.
Normale Angebot wieder abgelehnt. Naja, wer die ganze Zeit gelowballt wird, warum sollte das annehmen?
There's still a lot of power outside of this lane for Smash, right? He's going to be at his strongest when FaZe is at his weakest, assuming no accidents happen, no incidents here on the bottom side of the map. So we'll see if he can end up getting that 2-item spike comfortably, because he's behind in this lane, doesn't have prio.
55 Mio mit Boni, aber die wollen halt 50 Fix, ne? Und die wollen nicht 50 Fix zahlen, also warum sollten sie annehmen? Wir haben doch ganz klares Preisschild gesetzt. Ist doch fein. Das soll nicht lowballen? Naja, doch, wenn von Anfang an gesagt wurde, wir wollen 50 Fix haben und die immer wieder bekommen die realistischerweise mehr. Die Frage ist, ob sie verkaufen müssen, weißt du?
For potential to set up to get them into a position where they can find picks, but
Wenn du fünf Angebote sendest und alle sind unter dem, was sie geschickt haben oder was sie von Anfang an gesagt haben, was sie als Fix haben wollen. Oh, kannst du einen Kämpfer schieben, natürlich, sorry. Natürlich, sag doch was. Entschuldigung. Ja, 100%.
And we are seeing a potential follow-up here from Lucid.
Yeah, maybe a wraparound, but you can see Vega still has flash as Shiu. Oh my goodness. This is getting a bit ridiculous. There's first blood. He just drops the
Sehr gut.
on him.
Yeah, that was what I was kind of alluding to. Faker did not respect. He decided, I'm going to stay. I'm going to
Dafür, wie Botlane im Early lief oder wie Ruffs aussah, sind sie CS-wise fein. 2 CS down.
And he is not going to like what happens.
Plus, die haben halt sehr viele Tools später. Klar, da wird's Mika jetzt kommen von Carry auf jeden Fall, aber trotzdem.
A potential strong point here for D+ moving to the mid game is, look, he TP's back in. Baker will be able to get back to the lane pretty quickly here, though, so it's not like the old days where if you die like that, you just lose the game. Kind of patch that out, but still feeling much better if you are Showmaker right now.
Absolutely.
So he's just lurking here, and Faker thinks he's positioned safe.
I mean, sehr geil von Showmaker, ne? Auto-Attack into W-Karte ausgewählt für Auto-Attack. Mechanisch wirklich crisp.
And you'd expect that from the man who has
Crisp.
on this Twisted Fate.
Got those Damwon logos flying around.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Damwon logos. As Faker with this wave in a pretty awkward spot for Showmaker. And Showmaker without his flash does have to play respectfully. And Faker having not used it, even though he did just die for first blood, does mean that he, for some reason, has control of this lane. Feels a little bit counterintuitive, but does make a lot of sense when you think about the summoner spells.
Yeah. And the fact that there's a missing Lux on the bottom side of the map.
Yep, and a Pantheon in the game.
Doesn't have level 6 yet, but like you say, still an issue. And once he has level 6, that's when things get a lot tougher here for D+.
Warum flasht Onkel nicht mehr? Naja.
Across the board, Showmaker with that Destiny Gate now. See whether the first one is going to be.
Die Reaktionszeit war, also du hast eine Reaktionszeit von 0,5 Sekunden. Sobald die Karte von TF landet, ist er tot. To be honest.
It's going to be how well Showmaker uses this in order to guarantee a very fast kill before the rest of the cavalry from T1 arrives.
Smash, you know, obviously going for a different build path because he's Ezreal, but has a little bit of extra combat power here with these long swords in his inventory, and they've turned this lane around a little bit, so getting back a lot of control here. FaZe has the Greaves, so it makes it a little bit easier for him to dodge these, but he's not dodging them.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage, as now you got a Jarvan here to deal with on this bottom side.
Yeah, they expect...
Die Carrier ist komisch denkbar, ich vermute mal, der geht Mika als First.
Looking for an aggressive play, he's down Flash as well.
Obwohl, vielleicht nicht First, aber er muss also Second Item auf jeden Fall Mika als spätestens, vielleicht sogar First.
So if we have an extended fight here, it's going to be a close one as Owner goes in first.
Yep, should be the 2v2 as they look for Faker.
Sie haben kein Damage für den, oder?
Once again, but Lucy's in a bit of trouble. The flash gets Faker away, and now Lucy's going to be taking down Faker.
Okay, aber was zur Hölle macht Lucid da?
Trying to take the Pantheon for a walk and will save Showmaker with it, but that is still
Was zur Hölle macht Lucid da?
for T1.
And it's the flash advantage you talked about earlier. That's the big...
Das Stunt im Tötet überlebt Downer? Ja, wahrscheinlich nicht, weil Java die Combo einflashen wird.
But Faker has flash, so what are you doing? They spent so much resources trying to kill this Rise. So many resources are expended, but he just flashes the wall, and the fight is lost for D+ in that instant, as it's a fast rotation up from Keria.
Mandate hat kein Ruby Crystal drin.
Faker himself over the wall, so initially here, it's like, okay, I'm trying to set up this play where Owner used his stun, and now we turn on the Faker, and Owner can't peel for a second. But Faker has flash, gets over the wall. Owner just holds his shield up. You can't punish Owner in this situation when Faker flashes over the wall because he's got Aegis.
Yeah.
And I think T1 just calculated this way better.
And it's the thing. It's the fact that that flash wasn't on cooldown as Korea taking a full combo. Oh my goodness. Headshots just raining from the sky. And Korea does have to go home. Did at least have the heal to keep himself alive. But FaZe actually taking a lot of damage. True shot barrage. It's not quite the same as the EWC one there from Smash. But FaZe still taking a lot of damage here in this lane.
Smash played that so well. Made it look like he was going to go for
Game State natürlich noch immer fein, richtig? Also ganz kurz, Game State ist komplett fein.
It kind of blows my mind that, you know, like, if you think about it, Smash and Ezreal are like almost the same age. And he's just so good at piloting this champion.
I don't even know how old Ezreal is, but he seems Smash age.
Well, he was out in the release of League of Legends. That was what I was going for.
Oh, okay. I thought you just meant the
Smash
character's
is a little bit older than that, but only a little bit.
Only a little bit.
All right, T1 with a slight gold lead, and that is a big deal against the Twisted Fate.
I guess you could say the same thing about FaZe and Caitlyn, though, right?
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
FaZe getting a little bit older now, but still quite young. Both of these AD carries in the very early days of their careers.
Gibt's irgendwas, warum Owner wieder spielt? Keine Ahnung. Also wenn es sie gibt, habe ich sie nicht mitbekommen zumindest mal. Also das Problem ist, diese kommen von DK, da fehlt es ganz schnell mal an Damage, wenn der Ezreal nicht gut im Game ist. Und auch potenziell der Atox, also... Ich hasse 3 Grabs abgeben so sehr.
He's that guy. He is. As we are going to have a bit of a gank up here topside. Shiu has flash and his ultimate, but won't do him too much good if he gets hit by the binding first. Keria has flash if he wants to try to employ it. Doesn't need to, though. And even Rise coming up.
Yeah,
okay.
Coming on in here from Shiu as he does lock down Owner. That is going to be an easy kill there.
Okay. Okay.
But it's not going to quite be enough. FaZe able to lock him down as Showmaker does cause the 1-for-1.
Wow, könnt ihr Botlane diven oder nicht, ihr Animals?
In order to get up here, Doran not in as much trouble as it's only Korea and Smash down here, but Lucid's going to show up. Let's see whether this dive is going to work.
Korea muss tanken, ja.
Get D+ into a good position. The ulti comes down, but it's not a great spot. Cataclysm comes in. Lucid looking for the kill, and he will find it. True shot barrage might have actually.
Ja.
The Lucid wanting to make sure.
Yeah, that was a very, very close call there. On the top side, T1 are able to avoid the crazy play from Shiu there. He had so much gusto, I would say.
I love the word gusto.
Yeah, I think that was absolutely a gusto moment. Like, that's where gusto needs to be used. Where he flashes, gets the lifesteal there from his passive. So, Shiu here, I mentioned if they lock him down with a binding first, he doesn't actually have any outplay. It's Owner goes in first place.
Ist interessant, dass Owner tankt statt Keria beispielsweise.
Almost 2 shots Keria as Showmaker shows up. The turret's ramping. That doesn't end up being a mistake. It looks like intentional the way this was set up here by Lucid to make sure they could block the angle onto Career, because Career's got the turret aggro. If he gets hit by that ult, then he just...
Können wir dann völlig sehr stark von Mikhails ab. Ja, aus.
Lucid set it up, made it kind of awkward to hit it for Doran, so he is not able to outplay that dive. Does require Lucid's follow-up flash to get the kill, however, as you pointed out. So will be 1,000 gold to lead here for D+. Kind of winning on both sides of the map here in a small way. Could have been worse, though, if Keria also goes down on that topside dive.
The good thing about this for D+ is the fact that Showmaker is going to have like a pre-20-minute fully stacked Rod of Ages, which is not too bad. You can see Faker still just sitting on the Catalyst, and Showmaker already completely done with that item, so going to give him a little bit of an advantage as far as tempo.
Kein Drake dann gefällt mir noch nicht so.
I think mid-game is going to be so important here for D+, because as the game goes on, we know what FaZe can do on the Caitlyn. You get to like 4 and 5 items.
Und eigentlich müsstest du jetzt als Lucid callen, ey, ich bin so viel stärker, Career, komm mal mit, wir machen Terror. Eigentlich. Außer du spielst halt Hardcore into Botzeit mit der TFO, die gleich ab ist. Okay, das ist gut.
In a little bit of trouble here. Gold card blocked from Showmaker, looking to try and get on over here towards the Pantheon. We'll be able to find the angle. Wildcard chase out Faker as there's
DQ.
away from the Cataclysm, but he follows.
Sauber. Sehr gut gespielt.
And they take out Owner.
Wow, that was a very, very thin margin, I think, that Lucid had to play through there on that catch onto the Pantheon. Faker's flash was also just coming back up. didn't end up needing to use it. Wouldn't have helped out the play at all, but definitely something they were obviously considering when they decided to go for that. And it ends up being a kill onto the Pantheon, but also getting his flash. Lucid didn't have flash from the kill earlier and was still able to get the outplay over the Pantheon. And as a result, they were able to take the first dragon. It's a very late first dragon in this game, but it's also a very valuable Infernal.
It's also very cool that we get a Cloud Soul this game as well, because Earth, Wind, and Fire always happens at least once in a T1 series. And so that's going to be happening again. I can guarantee it. Unless I get Chemtech, but that's Orcs' fault, and not the fact that it's guaranteed. As this was just beautifully played by Lucid and Showmaker.
Ja, sehr gut von Lucid.
Realm Warp here.
All right. Shiyu gonna get dove on. The World Ender does come through, but it's a public execution! And it's beautifully done. So the Aatrox does fall down. T1 overloading the top side. Doesn't look like there's much of a cross map though.
Yeah, I mean, Keria is
Eine Riesenausführung auf dem Riff, was meinst du? Auf den Flaggen? Ja.
Career's zoning him away right now and preventing his backs multiple times. So Smash is going to get a lot of damage done. It's a bit of a race here for first turret, but even with these Essence Fluxes, I think it should go the way of Doran. They're on the
3 grubbies balanced.
Wave on it. He has 3 grubs, so they will not get this first brick. Baker's going to come over to defend anyways. Now, this
oh, wow.
is a play from Lucid in the jungle.
I mean, das ist sehr gut und der ist wieder tot. Ja. I played Lucid.
Do anything about this. Doran might be able to rotate down. He is trying to fight it. Showmaker's moving up though. Ace in the hole, and Lucid is able to get the slam dunk down.
Oh, jetzt ist Lucid tot.
Still Pace is moving up and has Doran in tow. Lucid, can he get a flag and drag out? The answer is
das ist so close, das ist absurd, oder nicht?
So a 1-for-1 trade
wow.
at the end. Definitely having a tough time, but I think it's still fine here for T1.
Absolutely still favors T1 on the trade, I think, though. It was so close to being great for D+ there on the catch. Here, I mean, this is just so clean. They chase him away. He has to ult. And then watch this angle here. Faker flashes forward as well, just to make sure they have the lockdown they need. And then here, this is the attempt.
Wie zur Hölle ist das so close? Der tankt auch noch den Blue Buff, by the way.
Top of owner and blow him up here with that ultimate. Instead, it's Paze who's actually able to impact the play first with this ultimate. And yes, with the Cataclysm damage coming through, he still bursts owner down. But Showmaker awkwardly flashes here, and then Doran shows up. And yeah, that was not the play they were looking for, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was almost, you know, Lucid making the great
Muss ich noch Schalke schauen, nebenbei, ja.
himself out, but not quite able to do so. Now Doran does have
nebenbei, während LEC läuft.
Has a bit of heal deny as well, which is great into the Aatrox. So they're feeling better in this matchup, and especially now with that kill, the assist, moves to about a 900 gold lead versus Shiyu. I feel like Shiyu is going to be pretty happy, though, in this game. Wants to be in the thick of things in these team fights coming up. And him and Lucid really are going to be the bash bros here in this game.
Let's see if Career can control Prio in mid right now and push this Caitlyn out of the lane so that Lucid has a little bit more agency as Flash is back up. I think that's one of the angles they
Noch ist Damage okay. Erneut, Smash ist fine im Game. Problem ist, diese Caitlyn bekommt randomly Kill. Also hat, ne? Caitlyn mit dem Kill immer ein Problem.
Start to get the advantage there in that mid lane. Showmaker's ult's coming back up, but he's very far away.
Ja, SK Season entscheidet dieses Wochenende.
Does have level 2 in the Destiny Gate. But,
vielleicht gibt's wieder Urlaub im August.
So 5 levels in his,
ich bin kein Schalke-Fan, ne. Ich bin VfB-Fan.
As he built his a little bit later, 725 the gold lead. But the biggest lead in the game is Lucid right now on this Jarvan. Let's see what he can make of it as we hit this mid game and hit those power spikes that we were talking about for D+. I think so much needs to happen in the next 10 minutes for this red side team in order to get a big advantage moving into the later stages of the game.
They also just dropped control over the Herald as well over to T1. I think this was the step 1 of how to get that done in the first 10 minutes. And now they're zoned out by Caitlyn traps.
Yeah,
and we might see a late contest.
Headshot. Yeah, that late contest is coming in. The Destiny has been popped. That gives them full information as to what's happening here. Lucid picks up the Rift Herald, but lets her walk past. And T1 will just back away. Flag for information. And Showmaker still just trying to hold on to this bottom outer turret.
Yeah, he dropped his ult down as well for more information, too, on that play. And I think that was part of why T1 decided, you know what, I just don't like this. They know everything. And it's a really risky fight because the Aatrox had that topside prio to come in faster. And ultimately, D+, they played a pretty fine line with letting that Herald prio go for the backs, but they did end up getting back control. Securing the Herald, though, still have not been able to do.
Warum machen sie... Okay, sie gehen Drake over Herald. Interesting. Weil ich dachte jetzt hier nach dem Chunk gerade auf Caitlyn ist es Free Herald, aber sie gehen für Drake.
Lives to sit in the Baron pit of another day.
Yep, and that is a lot of damage onto Career, but not quite going to be able to finish him off or anything like that. Fake with this wave that does move in.
Mikhail's first for carry. I mean, he doesn't have Shirelli as well, whereas Career does. So that's actually really valuable in terms of...
Doran auch ausgeschlagen. Das heißt, du hast volle Kontrolle, by the way. Free Drake.
Finding a fair bit of damage here on to Doran, but now she was in a little bit of
Flash.
trouble. 1v2 versus...
Flash einfach, oder nicht? Oh wow, er läuft raus, okay.
Sky plus being Aatrox is going to get him so much healing. And without the Ambassador there, without that Executioner's calling,
Wahrscheinlich das Big gegen Spirit gewinnt 3%. Also, nee, wahrscheinlich höher. Wahrscheinlich höher. Ich habe die Series von Spirit gegen Ding gesehen, gegen...
And D+ gets so much map control everywhere as a result of it. They're winning top.
Gegen wen haben die gewonnen gestern?
And they're winning bottom side, so now they're going to be able to get that Herald without...
Gegen wen haben die gestern gewonnen? Luminosity, genau. Also wahrscheinlich sehr viel als 3%, das war mies Cap. GG How, nein, das war die erste, da sind sie als Lower Bracket gedroppt.
Oh, Pays walking up. Pretty dangerous into this Ezreal, but doesn't quite have 2 items just yet. Probably sitting on the gold for it, as T1 now getting into position to fight for this second Drake of the game. D+ claiming the first one. And if they even out the Drakes with the late first Dragon pickup.
Hasse ich, dass DK diesen Drake hier nicht bekommt. Ich hasse es so sehr.
Maybe never in this game.
Contest.
Not for a while.
Ja.
Okay. Yeah, Destiny Gate to come on through here.
Gut.
As Pays does
Euer Drake. Euer Drake.
That's a heal for the movement speed.
That binding doesn't hit, and they just didn't like it. They did not like it. They backed away with Showmaker having a level 2 ultimate.
Ne, ich habe nur bei Donk, Game Map 2, glaube ich, von Donk. Aus Map 2, ich glaube Map 2 von Donk. Hat er irgendwie einen Kill nach 9 Runden oder 8 Runden. Habe ich kurz weggeschaut, weil Priming oder sowas lief. Dann schaue ich 3 Runden später ein, hat 10 Kills, so geisteskrank. Ich verstehe das nicht. Aus dem Nichts wieder.
Yeah.
On this Aatrox. He's 0-2 because he was the focus of many of the dives from T1 in this game, but it allowed the Ezreal on the bottom side to kind of freely have control. And this Caitlyn, who won lane technically early on, isn't necessarily really at the point she'd like to be at. 300 gold lead.
Ja, was Gutes hören wollte auf dem...
But this is the scary part of the game for the Caitlyn when you have 2
Top Esports dreht, glaube ich, gerade das Game gegen WE. On a good news.
It is what it is.
Oh, nee.
It's alright.
It's not a good omen for T1 if it's not the Cloud Soul here.
I mean, Chemtech Soul on an Aatrox. That's what I'm scared of. Not to mention the fact that this Karma will be all buffed up by that one. I think it's a kind of cool Chemtech angle. But we'll just have to see whether we actually get to it, as it is still relatively late. 4.5 minutes until that soul point would be available.
There's so much damage at this moment for D+. Like, they're at their strongest right now. 2 item spike on the Ezreal. About to have 2 items on Aatrox. The Sundered Sky double here for brawling in team.
Okay, die Frage ist, wie brichst du diesen Midlane-Turret? Herald haben sie. Nächste TF-Ulti in die Mitte platzieren?
He's going to be the one who wants to set up. They're going to start pinching sides. They're going to start playing through, okay, Faker thinks they get this free farm. I don't think so. That's not allowed anymore. They're going to try to punish Doran if he's trying to push up too far on the wrong side of the map. They're on the top side right now, and T1 are scrambling to try to defend against a potential gank onto Faker.
Yeah, Showmaker in a bit of trouble, though, as Faker and Ona are looking for him, but he does just walk it off. Lucid making his way in. Showmaker very, very low as the Realm Warp looking to try and deny. Gold card in hand. Lucid in a lot of trouble as well. The members of T1 are just everywhere as Lucid's able to escape. Showmaker taking a long time to die, but ladies and gentlemen, he will.
Was, Bruder?
But in the meantime, she was taking the bottom out of turret. We've got Smash in mid, and now T1 are looking at this Baron in full vision of D+.
Yeah, D+ don't
Die haben TP bei Shivo, aber es hat 5 Mann.
Wall set already. Smash is going to be able to walk his way through.
Public execution is a little private this time around for Doran. As Ona takes
Hart zu finishen oder nicht? Ja, sehr gut. Okay, geil. Und mit der Pose und Turret ist weg und schaut Botlane Turret. Okay. Okay.
I think it's Terry, and Terry isn't that scary. He's not scary Terry, he's just
I haven't fully embraced the Baron.
Yeah, it's territorial.
I don't know what that
No,
means,
neither
but,
have I. I just like the naming.
I think it's any Baron is scary enough right now to push T1 off of it in this case. So they do leave.
Okay.
And I think D Plus actually went on the exchange, right? They got
yeah.
that bottom turret. They got most of this inner. They had that huge push with Smash. They still have Rift Herald, and T1 got a kill on the Showmaker.
Ja, und den Herald müssen sie Toplane benutzen wahrscheinlich, weil der wird auslaufen für den Drake, der wird nicht da sein.
D Plus
Aber ist
were
okay.
better set up on the top side of the map, and they instantly make the call when these ults get dropped. Like, okay, we can't save this. Let's just push. And then Doran also TP'd, so she was like, all right. I think T1 really expected D Plus to full send on the defense for Showmaker, but they exactly did the opposite of that. As well, except Lucid, he full sent it. He probably wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
But everybody else just did the opposite of that and played the map instead, which was the right choice. Faker does get a shutdown.
It's
which
a lot of
pretty
gold.
big. Yeah.
And he now has his Seraphs completed, looking towards that actualizer, and that is when the Rise gets extraordinarily scary. I just keep thinking back to Zeka versus Chovy yesterday. Zeka had such a good early lane, but it didn't matter. Chovy was Rise in the end and did about a quadrillion damage, utilized Realm Warp incredibly effectively, and it led to a pretty comfortable win for Gen G in the end. And Faker, I think he's got the brain to make these Realm Warps work.
I'm just going to use this Herald here to set up a dive, I think. And there's Pantheon ult available here, but he can't get access.
Yeah, you can see Doran going to have to try and dash out of that Cataclysm, but Ona's just going to make his way up, just going to dive into Shelly as Doran gets knocked up as well. Lucid looking for an angle as they get on top of Ona. True shot barrage, but it's actually Lucid that grabs the kill onto the Pantheon. Doran left alive, but the turret is in ruins, and they've lost their jungler.
Not entirely sure what the objective for T1 was there, because I know the T1 motto, which is it's written right underneath the circus banner every time, is every fight is winnable. But they could have just let the turret go, and Doran might have been able to get away, and even if he dies, it's okay, but you don't want to give more. They end up giving the Pantheon.
I thought you were going to say together as one. And
Oh, I mean,
that would have
that's-
also kind of worked.
Yeah. Hashtag brotherhood. or in the past, for some reason, being. We still don't really know what that
Yeah,
one
I'm
meant,
still.
but
I don't. That was a bit above me. I think. I think it's kind of like the whole 6-7 jargon. I'm just not quite there.
they were Ing, I guess. I mean, maybe being Ing means the winning worlds.
Super.
Maybe it's a reference.
Dementsprechend Lucid gleich mit Jay fertig.
We have an ING,
ING?
bank. Yeah. Is that an Australian one? I've only seen it in Australia.
I don't know, actually.
It might also be New Zealand. I have no idea. I should probably not talk about things that I barely know about. 'Cause
So-
I haven't been in Australia for quite a while. Anyway, I
Game
don't know why I'm
State-
talking about banks.
Game State post the Herald play is better for D+, right? They end up getting that money.
Yeah.
They are going to have a lot of bottom side control for this Dragon. It looks like T1 want to threaten another Baron play, though, instead. Showmaker has ult and TP, though, so she was been spending a lot of this game just free farming, which I guess if your T1 makes you feel pretty good because he's not fighting you in a brawl where he's going to be at his strongest now that he's got Hysterics online. But he eventually, I mean, if you're not getting anything topside, eventually he's just going to get too much money. And T1 don't really have a strong play right now to be made. Doran looking for this flank wraparound here to maybe catch somebody, but nobody's in the jungle for him to get. And now the Dragon is just kind of free pickings here for Lucid to take, even maybe solo. And the cross map was ambitious at best for T1.
Yeah, you've got Smash coming on over, so this Drake is going to be taken very, very quickly. Showmaker may be in trouble, though, as Public Execution are going to come from across the wall, perhaps. As there's the Pantheon making his way in, but immediately
Oh wow, lebt.
there is the ultimate.
Oh wow, lebt. Lebt nicht.
And Showmaker will go down, but the Drake is going to be the trade, and now Korea is taking Ona for a walk. Shiu is going to show up this time.
Good.
And I think Ona is going to die for the 5th time. Down he goes. The Umbral Dash through
Good.
the wall there.
6-7.
As now Doran is getting enclosed here in this top lane. And I do not think he's escaping this one. Flag and drag to deny. And it's going to be Lucid with his 6th kill of the game in trade for an outer turret bottom lane.
Faker does get that turret. Hayes is getting some additional farm here in the mid lane. It's not a completely D+ sided play, in fact, so this ends up getting T1 at least something in exchange for the Dragon, right? But the D+ were so ready for it. Now they actually say, with a man advantage and a jungler, we're looking to take Baron, and let's see if they can actually get over here. Faker does have Realm Warp to come in here.
Ja, Showmaker hat Ulti aus Base, also sollte fein sein. Ich glaube, die können auch turn, to be honest. Lucid hat Flash Ulti, also turn is possible.
He can get back here very, very quickly. The teleport does come through from Showmaker.
Was macht Korea? Korea, du Motherfucker.
It couldn't be a 50-50 though, because there's no Pantheon in the pit. Down goes the Baron, and DK look to escape.
Alright.
Only Korea.
Mit Mord.
T+ are playing such a good map game. Like, I don't even want to call it macro. They just know what's going on.
Ich glaube, wenn du Herald gehst, trainen die Drake einmal Base Match.
Situation incredibly well. Know they have the damage. As
Would you say that they know what they're destined for, Wolf?
Yeah, I would say that.
They have a gate, perhaps, that they are able to open and see the future?
I think I would absolutely say that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
As
I
hope we get
Das ist so geil, es passiert einfach regelmäßig.
He's 100% aware. He's like,
Willkommen in der Zukunft.
and by the way, Aatrox is going to TP. He buys so much time here. He's so tanky on this Twisted Fate that they're like, all right, we knew you were going to force this play because we got Dragon and we were ready to respond here. I think T1...
Wir hatten letztens ein Incident mit Caro, die war 30 Minuten behind, der hat mich so getriggert.
We're going to get something. And they
Wieso ignoriert er mich wieder?
The Baron and a ton of map control. The gold lead doesn't change, but
jump scare is Shiu. He's going to flash away the...
Nein, halt's Maul. Okay, wollte gerade sagen.
And Faker is going to shut him down. Did have to use the flash for it, but man, I'm terrified.
Cancel off Owner.
Getting out of these replays, but yeah, they do have a Baron. They are going to push down this mid lane, but with that pick, it might help subdue, perhaps.
I mean, it helps them from prevents them from having 3 pushing lanes here during this Baron, but I think they're going to get 2 turrets off of this.
Yeah, this bottom situation is a bit of a problem as Lucid going to get chased away.
I mean, you don't have many options as T1. Doran's getting a lot of money here. I mean, T1 have gotten a lot of gold, but they haven't gotten map control. Let's see if
the world's shortest gate comes down for Showmaker, looking to hold Doran in position. He's going to try and teleport away, and you know what? He's going to be successful.
Kein RNG.
There he goes. Showmaker is going to lock a red card, unfortunately. Didn't have time to wait for a gold. And so out goes the Ambessa.
All right, so that's a win on the escape, but what I was trying to say before they went for that big play is the gold has stayed really small here, the lead for D+. In fact, it's shrunk even down to sub 1,000. And T1 have been getting the money everywhere, but they haven't been getting the map control over these important objectives. So you can see the power play here is negative, actually, for D+ right now. But they continue to push these waves, right? There's a lot of gold to be picked up on that bottom turret. If Maker is very far forward.
Yeah, Public Execution going to catch him here as Doran looks to get on top of him. It might have been a...
Großer Gott, großer Gott, großer Gott. Es ist ein Autounfall. Kann Pace Simulate wollen wir machen? Ja, natürlich. Guck mal seine Items anschauen. Oh, großer Gott.
20 seconds. That is the timer that we're looking at here. As the kills are even, the gold lead is basically just TF. And the Rebel Baron power play is nothing.
One day, you know, Aatrox will get the team fight. He's ready.
Yeah, surely.
30 minutes in, he's like, yep, I'm going to team fight. He's on the bottom side of the map where this Drake is spawning. Maybe this is the moment. Maybe this is his time. No, he's going to back.
Also beide Carries von T1 sind halt sehr scary.
That is kind of huge.
He might. I think he probably does.
TA is done. There are some items coming in. The problem is, there's an actualizer here for Faker. He's got an arm guard to break as well. And Paze is so close to those 4 items that I was warning everyone. There it is.
All right, so Owner doesn't have his ult. Doran's ult's going to come back very quickly here. It's 40 seconds to go. He can't make a play. They can't make a play to get prio before the dragon spawns, really. But if they can group here, get Faker into position to maybe be able to reposition the team fight, it's hard for D+ to actually fight for this dragon.
Bruder, wie kannst du WE-Fan sein? Was schaue ich mir da gerade auf meinem Screen an, by the way? Was hat WE da gerade gemacht, Onu? Wie kann's? Also ich würde wirklich, das ist schlimmer als alles, was Fnatic dieses Jahr gemacht hat. Was sie da gerade abgezogen haben. Oh mein Gott. Wo Painter? Well. Auf der Bank wieder. Oder im Academy-Team. Oder angewidert? Okay, sehr gut. Okay. Das ist krank. Aber gewinnen die den Fight? I mean, Shivu von der Backline. Die haben halt sehr viel Damage für Shivu, ne? Oh, stark. Oh, stark. Hat er Flash? Hat er nicht, aber er hat Q1 wieder. Pace ist tot. Was? Shivu? Shivu! Okay. Nick, danke für den 15er Streak. Und Traum, danke für den 52er, ich weiß gar nicht, was ich gesagt habe.
T1 do get the dragon, but they lose the fight, and the gold lead is actually the biggest it's ever been here for D+, and it might get even bigger with this turret going down here in the bottom lane. Carrier desperately trying to final spark to buy time, but this turret is going down.
2.5k kills here for Showmaker. Congratulations for that one.
And this is a really Really, really big moment
Hat der LCK Stromrechnung nicht bezahlt? Well, das ist eine fette Arena. Das ist eine sehr, sehr große Arena. Ist, glaube ich, auch das haben die gesagt, das ist, glaube ich, auch die Arena, in der das Finale ist. Irgendwie glaube ich noch nicht dran, dass DK dieses Game gewinnt. Hier schreit alles nach Choken. Also hier schreit alles schreit hier nach, die Choken ist weg. PS1 haben fast gewonnen, weil Shibu es so schlecht wie möglich gespielt hat.
It's not over till it's over on this one because they get the secure here. Pays plays this so well. Like, he's out of the trop. Watch him play this. He drops one trap that she was able to avoid, but here on the corner, during his Q animation, he's not able to avoid the next one. Pays gets a few more autos in there, and maybe it's actually
I mean, if this was a team fight, though, like, if anyone's able to CC Shio at all, right, like, he's dead, 100%. And, like, DK needs to be, like, I guess, congratulated for being able to make that separation happen.
Exactly. That was the whole point of that fight, is they had no eyes on the Aatrox. He was able to wrap around and get that backside angle. If he doesn't, I think T1 smashed that fight. So D+, they're not necessarily in a winning position just yet, but they do have control over this Baron pit.
Yeah, Showmaker does press the R button. Let's see what actually happens from it, though, as now Showmaker going to turn up, looks for Faker. Oner taking some damage. The Aegis now on cooldown as Shiu trying to press some buttons, but they're trying to hold him off. Oner sacrifices himself for the good of the colony. And Doran is looking to try and push away this Aatrox, but the Baron is live, and D+ have just killed the jungler.
Yeah, and TP back from Showmaker. He's
Okay.
I think they could have just gone for it there, but they want to play it a little bit more safely.
Looking pretty cool with his new hat as well. Showmaker now pretty powerful.
Now they can do it now that he's here, and it's not realistic for a contest here for T1. Control vision on this Baron.
Okay, sieht nicht so aus, als ob die Caitlyn fisten kann, oder? To be honest. Ich weiß nicht, ob sie halt noch ob es halt daran liegt, dass sie noch keinen perfekten Fight gefunden haben.
I just don't see any role. They have a desperation from Carrier. It's on a low cooldown, so you go for those, but they won't get it.
You miss every shot you don't take, so you may as well go for the final spark. We'll see whether this Rebel Baron power play is going to be better. Right now, sitting at about 1100, Ashiu is going to look to try and get himself out of the way, but Faker was not actually in that one. Public execution comes down, and Ashiu is just going to die right at the beginning of the Baron.
Yeah, that's a huge pick. A lot had to be used for it, but I think it's worth it.
Oh, 100%.
They used 2 ultimates to secure this one. So when you look at this fight here for T1, they don't have any ability to get Pays in the position to do consistent damage because their jungler went in so early. Like, Oner's so far up there that D+ are just like, nah, Pays can't get in, and we're just gonna wait. And then
Das stirbt es schon wieder.
T1 backs away, but the Pantheon is just
Das ruiniert halt wieder den Nash-Play, ne?
Oner dies, that leads to a Baron, but the next play...
Es fistet halt wieder diesen Nash-Play.
How much damage D+ want to get with this Baron, which is opening up these inhibitor turrets and opening up the base. GA done for Oner now. This game is still so incredibly close.
Wie ist auch noch heute bis jetzt? Game 2 ein bisschen Stinker, Game 1 war sehr gut auf Vi.
Does a lot of damage. Will be hard to kill him. His GA is still on cooldown for the next little while, though, so does need to be a little careful.
Imagine
to have that advantage.
Imagine if D+ had a Chemtech Soul and this was Elder about to spawn while they had Baron. That Secure of the Dragon for T1 is doing them so much work in this game.
Oh, yeah. And Showmaker now splitting towards that bottom side. This is a composition that runs 1-3-1 pretty effectively. But once again, I mean, it's a negative Rebel Baron power play. T1 playing into this Baron over and over again. It's just putting, like,
Shiu, du Freak. Und es hat auch kein Flash. Doppelfreak.
Good. And it's kind of proving to be true here, as even with 2 of them, D+ haven't been able to extend that lead all that far.
With a Rise and a Caitlyn, you have so much...
Kann nicht so schwer sein, oder?
Which is what D+ have been mostly playing through, especially after losing their top laner.
Die haben nur ein Mikael. Und diese TF-Goldkarte hat so 5 Sekunden Cooldown.
Will have his flash soon, but doesn't have it just as this is spawning, which is huge for him, because this time they don't actually have that flanking Aatrox necessarily.
He is looking for it, though, and now Doran trying to escape. Showmaker with that gold card locked, and T1.
Oh, starker Poke. Weil der ist er tot? Deathstance? Hat er nicht. Oh. Muss zurücktippen.
D+ just have to rush this down. They have to just rush this dragon down as fast as possible. It is a Chemtech dragon. It's not that tanky. I think they should be able to get it. Shiu's still holding this flank. Showmaker looks for the flank himself.
He's like the big bad wolf, man. He's just lurking in the jungle, in the forest, waiting to grab them. That is going to be the Chemtech soul. Only buffing the
okay. DK hat er sich. Ich vertraue den. Ist er tot?
Oh no! Doran's just dead. He was trying to walk through that
Brilliant.
one door. And unfortunately just wasn't able to this time around.
They could have TP'd him back into the fight, but he stayed, and Showmaker zoned him away, and there was just no way to get to the dragon for T1. D+ didn't look for a...
Ja, ich frage mich wirklich, ob diese... Ob die Kate dann halt irgendwann auf einem Level von so, okay, wir können nicht mehr gewinnen, ist. Ich weiß nicht, ob da eventuell das Mord Reminder vs. LDR halt den Unterschied macht, dass es eben nicht so ist.
Defense, the Showmaker here towards his top side with his Magi's now completed. Only 5 stacks. Oh yeah, and Twisted Fate, there is one thing that he does really well, and that is destroy turrets extremely quickly, especially with this build. You go Death Cap, you got a Lich Bane, man,
You have all that
turrets
AP,
do not last.
But you were designed as an AD champion. It feels like in so many ways. With how many
Just
changes
auto.
almost-
Why do cards hurt structures that much?
Yeah.
I don't know. But that is just kind of canonically true here in League of Legends.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's seen some YouTube guy like throw a card into a watermelon. It's kind of like that.
Ja, genau, also da ist halt, glaube ich, zu viel Threat auf Range.
D+
Also.
they've been doing such a good job of controlling objectives and not losing the game. They're
5
not-
items, Wolf. 5 items for pace. I'm scared.
They're not doing the risky team fight thing. They're not doing the force.
Serpent's Fang bei Smash fertig.
I'm near Pays as Aatrox. You can't fight, and we win the objective. This gold lead has gone up substantially as they get more and more of these structures off the map, but they haven't done the lethal blow to T1 just yet. And T1 have such an incredibly strong team fighting composition. If they can just keep Owner grouped with the squad and use them as more of a frontline than an engaged tool, I feel like the longer fight is almost always won by T1 if they can get map control.
Ich dachte, dass der Rice hier mehr machen kann. Das ist,
Not the time I want to see.
es ist alles eine Frage von Range, richtig, und wie du die Range ausspielst.
Team fight.
That would be the only time it would be worse.
But hoping we can get a little bit of information as to why this is happening. Hopefully, you know, like someone's mouse just ran out of battery or something like that. So it is, can confirm, peripheral problem. So maybe it is exactly that. Maybe we just didn't charge our mice before we came to work today. As it's Korea, something happened. Cannot confirm just yet. But
yeah, it's just a peripheral issue of some kind. So probably
I'm just trying to work out whether it is the mouse running out of battery or not, because like that would be pretty cool if it was just a guess.
It does look like it's mouse related.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I cannot confirm that his mouse isn't plugged in wired, but most players, well, I would say actually in modern times, it's more common than you think to play with a wireless mouse.
Yeah, I mean, a
Used
lot
to
of
be
our pros
unheard of.
moved over to it, yeah. I actually thought that, like, all of the purists were like, no, the polling rate is just nowhere near high enough. But I think that it's kind of been a thing of the past. Not having a weird cable attached to the mouse is kind of better.
Looks, I mean, as you guys can see him, and it looks like the issue is seems revolved. It looks, yeah, it's wireless. It's wireless.
Arena sieht sehr geil aus, ja.
No joke.
I really hope it was, because that would have been very, very funny. But I believe we are about to pop back into the game in a couple of moments. And in fact, you can see there are some buttons being pressed. And here we are. So a brief interlude.
I think D+ have one more job to do, which is to secure either this Baron.
I thought you were going to say kill the Nexus.
Well, that's like what they do. They get to do that for free once they do the job.
That's the reward for the job.
So either get this Baron or get this Elder, right? And I think the Baron's spawning first will likely be what they get. If they lose the Baron and just defend, I think they're still in the strong spot.
Wow.
Owner taking a lot of damage. He does have a GA, so he's not going to die from this, but True Shot Barrage through the base gate, not going to hit him.
Good prediction of where I probably would have True Shot the same way, expecting Owner to walk down there, but he does not. As could have gotten a GA there, but you know, you cannot be losing your jungler. That's why.
Oh, sie müssen halt für Nash spielen. Richtig, ohne Nash hier Base zu breaken ist
Plus. And D+ are just playing this oppressive style where they have
ultra schwierig.
to play through. They have this Jarvan with Flash and ult. He's incredibly powerful. Has GA himself now.
Er hat Medias verkauft für Rocket Belt.
In these fights, I mean, he's 4,000 gold up on his opposition.
Dear.
Speaking of,
there it is. Dash Cannon does get Showmaker closer to that gold card. Doran taking a lot of
Nasty.
Shot Barrage.
I mean, gute Picks.
Snipe him, but he is able to get himself out of the way. But Flash now down
might
on the
just
Ambassador, and the ulti's already used.
I mean, that might just be like Baron Prio. That might just be enough.
I mean, that TP, bro.
TP's pushing bottom wave right now, but could just TP in and they could just take this. If they get this Baron Siege, I don't know if T1 will be able to recover because that leads to Elder. And D+ don't have to win a team fight to win this game. They just need to get these objectives. And they decide to pull off of it right now as Owner's walking forward on Division. They might punish him. Showmaker's got that gold card.
Yeah, he's lining it up. And it is the final spark just to spot what's happening in that Baron pit. They do get the good news. The Baron hasn't been taken.
Ich bin Elder Pro, ja. Schreit wieder alles danach, ne? Ich kotze schon
They're
jetzt.
just not going to flip anything.
I like how you say that it's out of control when discipline is about being in control.
They're so out of control, well behaved.
They're out of control in control.
Ist da rein, du Freak? Okay, ich wollte gerade sagen.
DK, though, they still need to do something to push this advantage forward. Otherwise, T1 might just be able to outlast them here in this game. But Shiu on that flank angle. And
Ja, ich frage mich nur, wann sie starten sollten. Also ich habe das Gefühl, so jetzt demnächst, weil, also jetzt ist Shivu halt durchgemoved, ne?
Ult for Doran is back up, of course. He doesn't have his flash anymore, but he has TP. He actually got a little bit of bottom side control there, which he hasn't had for a little while.
Also vom Feeling her Crap und dann starten. Ansonsten bist du halt in dieser awkward Nash plus Elder ist gleichzeitig Up-Szenario.
oh, we're looking for the engage. Korea with the speed up. And Faker not going to quite get on top of Smash just yet. Does manage to get over to
Was?
but has to go
Oh mein Gott, Shivu want to be... Okay.
Does he have the gold card? Faker does
Okay, full set.
and Smash is
Okay.
able to take him
Danke.
that kill.
Dankeschön.
And now Doran is going to suffer the same.
Alrighty.
No public execution for anything other than yourself, my friend. And
Okay.
taking out the solo lanes.
Der Onkel hat's voll gesendet.
Direction to try and pull these minions.
Alter.
Deny the end of the game. But it should just be the jungler dead with Elder coming up. The Baron as well. It should be Exodia for D+.
D+ should just be able to get that, but if they get more here, they might be able to end the game.
Yeah, Carrier looking to try.
Shivu, bitte, du bist nicht der Main Character.
Talking about before, that's a decent.
Shivu, bitte, du bist nicht der Maini.
They have the extra CC. Pays might be able to get it done. And Ace in the hole does come in, but Shiu is still just fine.
Yeah, he's totally fine here. Did his job exactly correctly there. Doesn't flash on the Pays because he knows Pays.
LDR Freaks. 40 Sekunden auf Pantheon.
They get the Baron. Baron should lead to Elder. As we'll see if there's any way T1 can muster defense here. But this is just D+ being so patient. And in a rare moment of overextension here for T1, in a rare moment of a lack of patience here in this game, Faker just sends it. I mean, this is unlike T1, but just watching D+ just spend this entire game avoiding fights and waiting for T1 to come into an objective or make a mistake is crazy to me. Like, D+ have grown so much. They used to be a team that were so indecisive, a team that would snap engage at the wrong moments, but now they're just the macro gods sitting back and saying, your move, D1.
But this is the thing, right? Like, this is what D+ used to be so good at back in the day. This is why they were like the kings of 2020 and most of 2021.
I mean, okay, der Aatrox hat
The post at the very end, it's the one
Death Stance, GA, Tabis und ich weiß nicht, ob er es One Smash Hunter und er war Level 20 und er hatte Chemtech Soul, also und sie hat kein LDR. Also gibt es eine Erklärung, warum Faker das gemacht hat? Der hat keinen Bock mehr mit seinem Boosted Topliner zu spielen und deswegen Full Send vom Onkel ist sehr appreciated.
We'll see whether they can actually do it, because this would be devastating if they were to lose here. 10,000 gold going to be their advantage this time around, returning the favor that T1 gave to them in game number 1. Now Smash is trying to find this next turret, and yeah, the counter siege is pretty good for T1. This is the third Baron of the game for D+, and their first positive Rebel Baron power play.
For now.
They have Elder as well. Like, they have Elder, Soul, and the Baron. And if they were to ever lose any of these fights, it would be absolutely ridiculous.
D+ is spilling in now with a minute and 20 on this Elder. I think they should be able to end if any of this poke lands and it's starting to hit.
Oh my goodness, Smash does so much damage. There's Lucid getting the knock-up onto Faker.
Onkel ist tot.
One more shot, the gold card is denied by Faker. The wild cards don't come in.
Onkel ist... Wow, das Serpent's Fang von Smash hat er gerade 400.000 Schild deleted. Was?
Not quite working. Owner is gonna execute. But now he's in
DK, das traut ihr euch nicht.
Lucid as well, down to the GA though, and Owner trying to fight with Shiva.
DK, das traut ihr euch nicht.
But it's Pays picking up a couple of kills.
The minions are here.
Smash needs to do this for D+ if they want to win off the back of this Elder. Otherwise, T1 might find themselves in a decent spot. 2 inhibitors are now down. True shot barrage. Carrier going to get executed by a dragon.
Okay.
Pays taken out
Okay.
by Shiu. And I think they've done it.
Okay.
D+ are going to give us
Okay.
3 games here at the T1 home ground.
Very close here until the very end, but D+ in the
Okay.
game, the way they played the entire
Freaks.
mid to late game.
Schön.
They were hiding, they were setting up objectives, and on the final objective, the Nexus, they
Es war eine Geburt, ja.
shooting through with some
Sehr gut.
there on the
So, und jetzt hole ich mir meinen Chunky, meinen Bananen-Chunky, damit ich endlich was
Such an
essen.
impressive game of League of Legends. Some of these plays, these calls from T1 look like mistakes, but eventually they just were like, eventually they're going to kill our base if we don't do something aggressive. And that call from Faker to go in to try to set up the play on the rise just didn't hit. Doran TP's in, following up there to try to get into the back line and hold the wave, gets first down. Owner goes in a third time. And D+ knew that this composition with Pays was just going to be too difficult to deal with in straight-up fights.
I mean, even when they had all of those buffs, Pays was still half-healthing everyone he was shooting, man. It was still so scary for D+.
They solved the Pays problem. Just don't team fight into him. Put an Aatrox on top of him, or otherwise just run away and not fight. And they played such a great game. It's 44 minutes here, but this is one of the best games of D+ since the 2021 era, right, that we've seen from them on the map. Brilliant stuff.
Absolutely amazing. As well, vintage Showmaker on his Twisted Fate. So good to see it. Holding the gold card against Faker and instead kills Doran with it. Gorgeously played. Let's go to a short break. When we get back, the space is going to break that one down, and then we'll have the final game of this amazing series.
야, 절반 남았어. 천천히.
미드라인. 라이즈 한번. 라이즈 한번. 야, 라이즈 받아놨어. 천천히.
금자 빛깔 없다. 야, 캣 라이즈 노플. 얘들아, 라이즈 노플.
천천히. 잡았어.
안 배사.
야,
맞죠?
금지야, 캣 탱.
아, 빨리 좀.
빨렸다. 아, 나도 죽은데?
야, 라인. 잘해야 돼. 라인 해봐. 빨리 좀 봐봐.
얘가 박아야 돼.
얘들아, 캐치 노플, 안 배사 노플. 캐트랑 배사
노플이야.
노플이야.
천천히 하면 끝나. 천천히.
땡겨온다.
해도 돼.
금지야, 캐틀 노플.
캐틀 지르자. 아, 나머지.
나 너무 힘들다.
고생했다.
잘했다. 내가 좀 못하겠다, 이거.
오늘은 T1 시그니처 에디션을 언박싱을 해보겠습니다. 상자가 고급스러운데요.
불이 들어오는데요, 이거?
이렇게 세워둘 수도 있네요.
2025장 한정카드에 제 사인까지 더해지니 더 특별한 것 같아요.
이거 한정판인데요?
조절해봐. 일단 개급하다가 다 버린 거야. 야, 이번에 짧았다.
There's the flash. Oh, the shockwave as well. The delivery system so nice. The closer heels into the air. The shots have been called as the hands trying to get out, but will fail. Ron's now trying to turn it to pulverize. On top of Rosita is just gorgeous. See what Duro can do. If he manages to get a good ulti here, they could just guarantee Infernal Soul. The train comes down, it's missed as Cataclysm comes in, but there's the Keeper's Verdict, and Genji! They cut them off, Kanavi taken out, Delight nowhere to go! Zeus comes in, it's a decent equalizer, but not good enough! Deadly Flourish, and another shot will do it!
One big fight on this dragon.
And they don't necessarily have to
fight this one, but they're gonna try as everybody is in the mixer. Cruiser disappears, not even getting to press any buttons. And now Charvel here alone. Only 2 members left of TNS. One of them is gonna take a hex gate.
얘들아, 너 정신 차렸다.
I think their influence is weak, right? Their ability to control this map is getting tougher and tougher.
Oh, here we go, gonna press some buttons. Scan of the weakest dodge and Showmaker, the double tap. He even tries to flash it in pain.
신나 피해. 신나 줬다. 보자.
Puts the team on his back like he's done all game long and sets up the play. 3 kills.
Really safe inventing. You can actually put no, you know, I was saying maybe
Well, Gideon's still gonna go in and then explode. He's down to the Diego, possibly.
너무 오래 숨지는 말라고 결말이 좋지 않을
제발. 끝난 것 같아.
I can make it look easy. Feel like there's nothing wrong. It's so easy. If you wanna know, come find out. I make it look easy. Time and time again. Do it like this, like that. Can make it look easy, easy. Tell me what you want. Better make it crystal clear. We can keep it up front. And I'll tell you what you wanna hear. Is it sunshine or rain? Is it good times or pain? I can help you to learn how everything will work out. Always for the better. Don't get stressed out. No, never. Gotta be a hard worker, a little clever. I go all out with every endeavor. Take your time out, you be doing fine now. Let's go. Watch me ride out. I can make it look easy. Every sky is a line I'm drawn. Cut by cut, mark by mark, my name forever in the stone.
And the show will continue over at the LCK Roadshow. The T1 home ground goes all 3 games as D plus Kia take themselves a very controlled game number 2 over T1 to force us to that ultimate 3rd game here, Ox.
Yeah, and we hit the voice comms at the end and saying, "No, that was so difficult. Like, it was a really big challenge," but they managed to take them down. And I think there was definitely some really strong play in the early levels. Still was a fight. T1 always make you fight for it, especially in front of their home crowd. But series now equalized. Anyone's game.
I gotta say, it was one of the best Lucid early game this time around. I feel like he really had such a great moment since the beginning. I feel like Rise and Pantheon, those 2 duos are one of the best mid-jungle duo you can get in this meta. But I feel like the punishment with the TF and the Jarvan in the early game made a Faker really hard to play the game out.
I also think that the Kate Lux is obviously a duo that pays and carry a phenomenal on, and they pick those to match into the Ezreal Karma. But I feel like with the composition as a whole, it's really hard to protect that Kate Lux. Feels like a really vulnerable combo, and there's a TF who can ult behind you, a Jarvan, an Aatrox, and I think when D+ did get ahead, it just became so hard to keep the backline safe into this D+ composition.
Yeah, let's take a look at that early game from Lucid, where he was relentless in making sure that Showmaker got ahead. Not only did he get that first kill, it was after he spent some time there to get rid of the flash. Then down on the bottom side of the map, he was wreaking havoc everywhere.
I mean, I just kind of feel bad because there are so many moments that Lucid made by himself. He was invading Perma and punishing the owner all the time. And I think this is the reason why, even though Faker and Owner had such a great combination with their global ultimates, they couldn't do anything just because they lost the mid-jungle fight really hard.
And I think Jarvan is a pick that, you know, if you're behind, you still have the Cataclysm that has value, but you kind of just get exploded when you jump in. But when you're ahead, you saw Lucid could just run rampant, too tanky to kill quickly, able to just play around the flag and drag, the Cataclysm, and have such an impact. And this was the difference at 15 minutes. You can see, got 1,000 gold lead, solid CS lead, able to get 4 kills for him specifically. And then as the game went on, this lead just ballooned. You know, later in the game was like a 50 CS lead, sizable gold advantage. It just meant Lucid was really able to play so aggressively and with so little fear.
Yeah, this game, unlike the first game, didn't have as many bombastic early game skirmishes that we're used to in this meta. This was a much more controlled game after all those invades. It was not like, hey, I show up, you show up, we're equal fighting, let's see who wins. This was, I'm just gonna win this fight first by Lucid, which then led to this final fight here that we wanted to show you guys. The 4th Drake, where it was all stacked up.
Ja, Toplane in der LCK nicht so immer zu sagen, aber es ist ganz klar Kino und Zeus. Right, aber das hast du auch schon geschrieben. So, okay, ich kann endlich essen.
Both looking down different targets, and Hayes does a great job of kiting, but eventually she just walks up to it and puts a big auto in it and takes him down. So difficult to keep those that backline safe.
I feel like
Neues Chunky wird probiert.
almost perfectly on their
Guten Dankeschön.
I think they played
Burger PJ.
the lane whole time, and also in the late game team fight, even DK mentioned about, oh man, it was really hard to kill Caitlyn at the end. But you know, even though they played perfectly, it's really hard to fit in those.
Es wird eine neue Chunky probiert, Banana Perfection. Kommt doch hier am Sonntag.
It felt impossible to kill Aatrox right there, and I think this was the correct game to pull off TF again. I think
Das
he
riecht
was
sehr lecker.
bringing so many good plays in the early, but I
Also,
feel like it was also Showmaker's Twisted Fate that brings so many good plays by the gold card and the Destiny, and it was just one of the best combination from the DK here.
And I remember Showmaker saying when he was in Paris, when they were against the home crowd, how he loves playing against the home crowd and doing such a fantastic job. That same situation here.
And against the Preds as well, because we think T1 is going to win in their home ground mostly.
Right? They have won both of them so far this season against Bro and against B&K Fear X earlier in, I think, round 2 it was. And Atlas, the only brave one here to believe that D+ will pull it off, but as we've said, from EWC against that hostile Arming Corp crowd in France, D+ Kia reveled in being the underdog there, and we're able to show up.
And you know, Beryl isn't even on the roster anymore, so you know this isn't a Beryl vote. This is Max fully believing in D+.
I mean, now you can never blame people for predicting like other teams, you know. I think as we saw, LCK is just full of chaos, and every team can literally just win the game.
I mean, I understand why there's a lot of T1 votes. I obviously voted for T1, but I'm kind of surprised there's just that one D+ vote, because they have this recent run of form, really gotten some big upsets, some big wins. So
I mean, it's the home ground advantage, you know. I remember Keria is picking up all the POMs.
They said that in Paris as well, though, when all the fans were against D+, and, you know, D+ rose to the challenge.
But it wasn't just that. It was the fact that when these two teams met last time, T1 mollywopped, dismantled, destroyed
exactly
Kia, the hottest team in the LCK at that 7-series winning streak. And so I was just going with the recency.
Aha.
Same team that we were 1 week ago.
Das hat sich gelohnt zu warten.
That's true.
So lecker.
That's true. Well, there's one man
Im Draft.
who believed, who's on the call right now for Game 3 over at the T1 home ground. Let's send it back on over to Atlas and Wolf.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that I predicted T1.
Yeah, you told me that earlier today, and I
it's a bit of a surprise. But you know, it's a welcome one given the fact that the series isn't over, I guess.
ask him again at 30 minutes into Game 3.
Yeah,
whether he likes it or not.
Perhaps. I don't know. Sorry to take away from the end of the space there just a little bit. I appreciate saying that I was brave and all that stuff, but I didn't even know that I was. Crazy. Well, let's see whether I'm an idiot or whether I'm a genius. And I might just be, maybe I should have instead just said, like, they were Jew, you know, like Ox did when he looked really cool. I kind of don't have that option anymore. Dang it, I should probably think before I speak. But that's all right. Let's get into this. T1, they have first pick once again. I feel like as you get deeper into Fearless, though, first pick gets a little bit more murky as far as its value. And so I think this is going to be such a close Game 3.
Absolutely. And Game 1 felt like such a T1 draft, and Owner and Keria ran the entire game, right? With a Camille setup there with the Vi. And then in Game 2, Lucid just gets the better of Owner, crushes him in Game 2, and it's a very D+ flavored draft with the Twisted Fate. Feels 2021-esque, as we were saying. But moving into Game 3, who knows what kind of draft we're going to see with so many of these big champions removed. This will be the deciding game, and maybe D+ can break the 4-win streak at their home grounds.
We'll see whether they can do it. And the draft is going to come first.
Dum,
It's going to show us a lot about how
So, schauen wir mal.
formed in the eyes of these two squads, because I think these are interesting ones when it comes to takes on the meta. I think yesterday Gen G and Humble Life Esports had a different idea about what good looks like, and this time around D+ with their own unique flavor with that 1-3-1 composition played it out very controlled in game number 2. T1 with a lot more skirmishes, scrappiness, the circus was in town, and that was working out for them in that first game. But now, Poppy going to be banned. The Nocturne as well will be taken away.
I think
and
Bard
Lulu,
again.
yeah, going to be answered.
Lulu and Bard probably traded here.
Okay,
And then
Casio.
It gets a little bit murky. Maybe just another Cassiopeia ban from T1.
Yep.
Take that away from Showmaker.
Yep. Unless they want to leave it for a first pick, because I think it's pretty first pickable now. Maybe, unless the Anivia is something he's scared of.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is going to be T1.
Rumor. Ben is set to return to BLG and compete for starting position with Flandre. He's likely to play the last 1 or 2 games in regular split or come back during playoffs. Oh mein Gott.
Taken already, so that's not a factor here.
I think the Yunara compositions and things like that were the ones at the forefront of people's minds, but the Lucian still needs to be banned, so that Cassiopeia is still likely to be picked up.
I wonder if Smash and Career do have a lane prepared for it.
Okay.
No.
And also, don't take the risk. I think that like Pays and Carrier are just too good at Lucian milling.
Alrighty.
Don't give them the option. But it's a snake for Faker. I think he's almost definitely going to be playing the Cassio here.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. Works with
Ja, Casio First Pick. Was spielen die dann? Anivia?
Cassiopeia is the new Azir, right? Where it's strong
Oder Azir? Ja, aber eher Anivia wahrscheinlich.
well, has some engage, just does too many things.
Ohneberg habe ich verpasst. Wurde einfach bestimmt. Weiß nicht.
Damage as well.
Es gab, glaube ich, kein Riesen-Announcement oder so.
Bottom side of the map and still feel like you can do that DPS late game. The Jace, though, will be the first pick for Doran. And that outranges the Cassio. I actually kind of think this is a really interesting choice for T1, looking at what was still available.
Yeah. Just puts a lot of faith in Doran in this draft. And I'm not to say that that's misplaced.
Also Shibo spielt auf jeden Fall Yorick.
I mentioned it in game 1 that they could have also done this, but they didn't opt for it then. This time around, with a lot more banned away, they do.
Shibo spielt auf jeden Fall Yorick.
Yorick is still there. The Cassante is still available. There's a lot
Cassante
of ways to
rein.
respond to this. They could just go Cassiopeia, Cassante, because you have a front line for that scaling Cassiopeia. It's a good matchup into the Jace. And we'll see what Faker's answer is going to be.
Kannst du Casio einfach so First Picken, ist, glaube ich, der meist First Pickte Champion.
Yeah. And so let's see, is it just Faker's?
Wenn offen, also der Champion ist immer First Pick.
Disappointing to me, to be honest. But
Ja, Cassante mehr Value als der Jace on average.
Well, the Cassante
als
will
Yorick.
lock in here. We've seen that work actually decently well
Pass.
into the Jace. But I think it is highly, I guess, hinges on what you're going to be playing in the jungle alongside it. And I think Rammus is the perfect answer to whatever you want to play because it's Rammus. But no, Owner's going to hover some weird stuff first, and then we're going to see what's going to be locked in here.
Ich spiele High Range Comp.
Ziggs Angle.
Super High Range Comp, ja.
No Vi, I'm not a big
It's
fan
got
of.
Shen, though, so Ziggs Shen could be the answer.
Or Ziggs Leona, I suppose, could be a thing.
Nautilus, maybe?
I would not prefer the Nautilus, but we'll see. I mean, you're going to lose those supports, or at least 2/3 of them if you don't lock it in right now. Possibly even all 3 if D+ take the support on 3 themselves and then ban both away.
Well, there's just so much
You
outrange.
have to go Shen if you want Shen right now. You have to lock it in. Instead, it's just going to be Trundle into the Cassante.
Man, this is really interesting, though. I actually kind of love it from T1 because they've seen these strong picks, arguably, out of D+ Kia, right? In the Cassante matchup into the Jace, that's actually worked out quite well for the Cassante. Cassiopeia has been one of the most banned mid laners all patch long, but Trundle is a keep-away champion, and they outrange with everything else that they have. I think it's a really, really cute idea, especially with all that subjugate value that you get into this Cassante.
I agree. It's not something I saw coming, but it makes 1,000% sense here for Owner to be given this pick. Not great into the Nefiri in isolation, but everything else will come together. I think the Nefiri is a great counter pick here. Now, this engage is going to be taken away. T1 chose first pick, so they won't be able to pick first after the banning phase. So if T1 now find themselves losing the Leona and the Shen, they want the Nautilus might just go. So that's pretty scary considering how fragile this bottom lane can be.
I think they also need to, like, ban the Nautilus, right? Like, D+ need a
Kann mir Jace Jungle schicken? Ich finde Jace Jungle sehr schwierig.
this Jason Ziggs.
Du meinst, dass man dann den Trundle ins Toplane reinschickt und Jace Jungle?
So
Ich finde Jace Jungle nicht sehr gut. Sehr schwer im Early zu casten. Ne?
T1 because I think you can try to put the focus on that bottom duo. Nautilus goes first, you mentioned it. And consistent damage is not a thing that this T1 draft has right now. And if they end up getting a carry for Smash here that has that, that is a big problem. Alistair taken away.
All right, so no Alistair to come through either. What is the engage support that D+ are going to look for? Leona is there, Shen is still there. So there are some options.
Should T1 ban Varus? You know, if you
Hat auch noch heute alle Games gemacht bisher? Yes.
your Ziggs just gets dove because the prio is so hard that the Fury comes down.
Das ist die Frage. Sie könnten natürlich, den Cassio-Bot schicken, richtig?
In this game, but only get one of those. The Trundle can help deter dive, but isn't necessarily great at it. Instead, we're looking at pulling a bit of a Peter here and dropping the Rakan.
I don't know whether I like this that much, though, because they can still go for a Talia in theory. And so Rakan really struggles into all of those rocks, and it's even more keep away, right? Like, you have the seismic shove to just say, get out of my face. I don't want to deal with this.
I agree with you. I think this is a pretty risky choice. And there isn't really a pick in this draft that makes me feel like it's
Saya picken wir bitte. Wir picken bitte keine Saya.
all of this poke.
Also ich höre noch an vor Games. Wir haben danach noch, also jetzt gerade läuft nebenbei, hier unten, schaue ich, WE gegen Top Esports und danach läuft noch Animal Legend gegen JDG. Also wir haben bis LEC sind wir am Chillen.
What if Faker just plays this here? I'm serious.
He did do it recently, right?
Yeah, it's a good pick here. It also helps further keep away.
Wir picken keine Saya auf 5 DK.
But I think the Azir kind of works here. Helps the Trundle for setup. Strong mid jungle.
Give me the Xerath. That's what I want. Instead, it's the Victor. Victor feels, you know, a little bit more standard.
LEC am Freitag ist nochmal? Yes.
That was the one thing I think this
Wir haben, wir haben Freitag bis Montag jede Woche LEC für den ganzen August noch.
Not see an Akali in this game.
Wait.
Wieso? Die haben kein CC.
This was a
Wieso? Also ist ein guter Last-Pick.
Showmaker on the Akali, and we've got
Ist ein guter Last-Pick.
Cassio.
Okay, well.
Die haben 0 HCC.
Matchup-specific pick. Mages in the bottom lane do well against other mages in the bottom lane, and so that is.
Kann Cassio gegen 6 spielen? Ja, auf Botlane kannst du normal lane. Auf Botlane ist es okay. Du gehst vielleicht ein paar CS down, aber.
I think the Cassante is the biggest winner of that. Now, if he does index into it too heavily, it's going to have some problems in the laning phase. But if he can get out of the lane and put a lot of magic resistance here into Victor and the Ziggs, he's going to be doing more, you know, MR than anyone else really can do on the side of T1 here.
Also, es ist ein insaner Akali-Engel, by the way. Ein insaner Akali-Engel.
I don't think they had to do this. I think they could have just drafted a winning lane. D+ could have into the Ziggs and played through it with their Nefiri. But instead, we've just changed the entire draft at the snap of our fingers. A bit of a surprise, but a welcome one. We'll see if they can pull it off, though, because this draft needs the Akali to get ahead. And also, you know, Smash on Cassiopeia is still somewhat of an unknown right now, how well he's going to do in the lane. He should be able to win lane into the Ziggs, but
I mean, if it's anything like Smash's Victor, I think...
Wieso Victor so lange offen? In der LCK ist die Victor Prio runter.
He has actually really taken to the mage play on the bottom side of the map very, very well. This is not the norm, right? But it is certainly a whole lot of fun. I believe it was Viper that...
S++, also ich finde den Champion auch noch stark, aber in der LCK verliert er regelmäßig Games inzwischen. Du hast eigentlich ich glaube nicht.
All right, here we are. Ready for game number 3 of this series between T1 and D+ here at the T1 home ground. The KSPO arena is, dome is extraordinarily full.
There's an arena inside the dome, it's fine.
All right, yeah, I guess you can call it arena. Maybe it's just like, you know, it's a simple...
The dome is the shell for the arena, you know.
Yeah.
You think of it that way.
Just like a UI is just a dome, and even if it's different, it's still the same. All right, Xiu and Doran. This is a fun matchup. I actually quite like this one.
Also die Frage ist natürlich, okay, du hast den Trundle, der ist ganz geil gegen Cassante später, of course, drückst Ulti, bla 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 bla. Ihr kennt's. schafft es der Trundle aber sonst einen Impact zu haben, weil an der anderen Lanes plus Jungle Matchup sind nicht so Togo.
We don't really like the Akali at level 1, and most matchups, enjoying that a little bit less, is that the Cassiopeia actually has consistent damage output, whereas the Ziggs does.
Ja, schon Level 1 Bot, I guess, wir haben keinen Level 1 Play gesehen.
Actually, once Smash gets level 2, it's going to be really annoying for FaZe, because he's got his Q, and that's all he's got. So he'll have to be really careful in this lane matchup, otherwise you could just get hard pushed in. And it can be very annoying to play if you are FaZe. Notice Smash did not go teleport, because he knows he's actually the one who has the pressure in this lane. He went for the more combat-oriented ghost in this.
Oh, that's an incredible satchel there from FaZe. Just threw them all over the place. Not actually going to necessarily do too much as far as winning the trade, but looked really cool.
I mean, it did get him a lot of damage on the Smash, and it's really hard to actually win trades, but double taunt into double satchel is a combo I hadn't really considered all too much, but it is going to work out in this case.
And the thing that I do want to talk about is the mid-jungle here, because I feel like Faker and Ona definitely have a lot more synergy, right, with the gravity field and the...
Hallo Trainer, wie geht's uns? Ganz gut.
Just sort of working so well together to try and guarantee these stuns from the Victor. And
Lucid
on the
and
other side,
Showmaker
Lucid,
have a
they
lot
have
of
damage.
damage.
Yeah, it's just damage.
Usually CC is the more interesting part. Sometimes you have one champion in the mid lane that does a lot of damage, and then the jungler does a lot of CC, and that works out well. But double CC can also work well because people just can't play the game then when you do that to them. But double damage often does not work out because the CC kind of comes into play. It stops you from doing it. But it's not a free setup with Pillar and Gravity Field or anything like that. It's very strong, but it's not Ahri Vi levels of damage and CC layered together. The Taliyah would have definitely been a lot stronger in that regard, but see how Faker plays this lane. Obviously generating a decent lead, but not enough to get anything on the Showmaker. So Lucid's just going to be annoying down here. Now, they did not opt for a Varus lane or anything like that, so not going to see an early Nefiri dive, but it is stopping backs right now, which is a pretty successful play. FaZe will finish his back and TP back in.
Yeah, going to be able to grab some items here as well. Double Amp Tome, just to make sure that he's got as much damage for the wave as he possibly can have. And Smash will be able to push this wave in. But you can see, like, FaZe is doing really, really well in this lane right now as Ona making his way down. Korea not going to get interrupted or anything with a pillar. And Korea is a little bit low, but they are looking to just get the shove with this Trundle being in the area.
Now, if FaZe loses...
Also, es verneigt morgen mit Kani, weiß noch nicht.
Background entrance was so weird. Actually caught FaZe in his satchel.
Gonna
Does
play.
have to flash to get out of the play, and he just teleported back.
Yeah, exactly. Now he doesn't have it, and I was setting up for that because Career with a flash available is threatening that, right? He's constantly thinking, if I can set this up, Smash is going to do so much damage, even without his Ghost available on the chase. Smash knows
Ich hab zu lange
all
15.
he needs to do is to hit one knock-up, and FaZe is going to be out of the lane. FaZe thought he could outplay it with the satchel there. Now finds himself down flash and down TP. We'll be able to hold this wave here. Carrier is going to be the one who backs first, but a very, very scary moment there. If he had lost that wave, that would have created such a ripple effect. His owner would have had to stay down there, would have affected his clear, and as a result, it is still a big win, but luckily for FaZe, he gets out and gets... We normally see the sad triple longsword or sometimes triple dagger in the bottom lane. Triple amp tome is a new one.
Showmaker is going to find another ninja in his lane. Does kind of prefer it to be only one ninja in the lane. That's how it works.
Sieht aber sexy verschwendet aus? Ja. Ist auch so. Also sieht sehr verschwendet aus und in dem Draft sieht es auch irgendwie sehr komisch aus, aber ich verstehe halt die Idee mit High Range Draft richtig. Nur der Akali Glasback hat mir halt sehr gefallen.
Per team, otherwise you lose 1 HP.
Oh, I have no idea.
It might be back. It would be very cute if it was. She was also playing the Aftershock version of the Cassante into a Trundle. That is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Wie ist Overlay anders? Wahrscheinlich, weil der ein normales Overlay buggt ist oder halt nicht funktioniert gerade. Akali ist so gut gegen diese Combo. Also, ich sehe halt keinerlei Hard-CC bei T1. Und das ist halt mit das Geilste überhaupt für Akali, richtig? Also wenn du Free Teamfighten kannst und sehr hart threaten kannst, allgemein Nafiri genau dasselbe, richtig? Cassio eigentlich genau dasselbe. Also die Tools von T1 sind, finde ich, sehr, sehr limitiert. Aber sie haben halt die ganz klare Range Advantage.
The ultimate is not there from Owner. Nobody's going to be killing him or hurting him ever. So it's a good thing that they have that button. It will be very helpful.
Oh yeah. Lucid going to move down towards his bottom side. Ona clearing out a control ward on his blue buff, but Lucid does have access to this area right now. Level advantage as well on the Nefiri as Korea Gonna rotate up. Carrier gonna be following.
All right. Career has hit some really big knockups already this game. Pays is flashless. Trying to force a 3v3 here is fairly risky.
Yeah, they are just going to give this up though. Respecting
Okay, Pari.
the power of the level 6 from this Nefiri. So T1 going to be playing back. The gold lead that they did have had got up to about 400, 500, something like that, but is now shrinking once more. But I just don't... I'm not sure whether I trust D+'s composition as we get further into this game. They need to show that they can force fights anytime they want, because otherwise I think T1 just win.
Exactly. It's very scary when this Victor becomes online. And if you can't crack, it also depends on what dragons we end up getting and stuff like that, but if you can't burst Faker, he actually is that consistent damage output, even into a...
Siehst, kann er gerade mit der Bombe aus Invis holen? Ja, theoretisch schon. Und na klar, auch der Shenton kann connecten, auch der Pillar kann natürlich ein bisschen displacen.
Probably. We'll have to see how the game state goes. His career will get a backstop here.
Oh, it's actually so annoying. Should guarantee the Drake here as well, although...
Quasi Trade-off weniger Reliability gegen High Range.
Not to fight for it.
Ich meine, sie haben sich ja mit dem Trundle dafür entschieden. Also der Trundle ist ja jetzt nicht Teil von dieser High-Range-Comp per se, richtig? Oh wow, er ist tot. Oder was?
Smash is gonna yell at him, and Pay's going to survive here. But still a lot of damage to come out from this.
Der Trundle wurde ja gepickt mit der Intention, okay, die werden wahrscheinlich Cassandre gehen. Dementsprechend picken wir jetzt den Trundle und dann hat der Cassandre weniger Value. Oh, das ist ein Freedive, oder?
When is it going to be back up and available? There it is. As Korea does get this wave knocked up, they are looking to try and shove this as fast as they can.
Drake für Herald Trade, dafür begreifst du die Botlane.
Lost their blue buff. This is a big investment as the teleport comes out from Faker.
Okay.
And he's just going
Amen, gut gerettet.
to down here and sacrifice his lane just a little.
Yeah, we always wondered what D stood for in D+, but it's going back to that discipline from game number 2. It's not going to force the play, get the TP out of Faker. Luz just goes right back to his jungle. Some of his
Trundle wurde nach Cassandra gepickt, ja, noch besser. Right, also dann ist die Intention vom Trundle sehr klar. Frontline diminischen, während du halt für Poke spielst. Weil die haben ja auch All-In Teamfight, All-Out Teamfight Burst, right? Mit Victor, auch mit einem Six und so, aber Grundidee mit J6 sollte ja immer klar sein.
Tech, by the way. Yeah, from career, it's like he's been practicing his magic. He actually understands how to interrupt Satchel, and we've never seen someone try to punish the Ziggs this way here in the LCK just yet. So he came prepared. We weren't 100% on board with the Rakan at first, but watching how he's playing it with the winning Cassiopeia lane, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's certainly working. And it pairs with the Miasma quite nicely there as well. You can sort of guarantee it if Smash is ever able to get that in line. But Flash now down for the Cassio is going to make this somewhat dangerous, and they haven't been able to get too many plates from this turret yet. That's why T1 still has that 400 gold lead we were talking about before. Showmaker also not really being able to put a dent into mid lane just yet, although now that he has hit level 8, is feeling a lot more comfortable.
Just gonna clear this wave and then leave.
Ich find schon mega TP ab.
That's the case, dropping the ultimate on top of him.
Alle bumpt nicht, oder was?
The lane here in the bottom side is pretty abysmal for Pace, right? We don't have the gold up right now because the UI is kind of bugged at the moment, but you can tell he's down a wave. He's lost a lot of plates. Like Cassiopeia is very online, and it's going to have Rod started here pretty soon. And so I'm wondering what this mid game is going to look like here for T1 because they have a really strong set of bursty opposition in this game when we come into these next few fights, like this next Dragon, for example, Herald.
Faker Q Upgrade first auch interessant. Die Sache ist Wave Clear technisch. Muss er ja nie upgraden in diesem Matchup.
A scary snake. Walking into bushes when there could be snakes is something that Australians often learn, but I didn't expect, Koreans to learn it as much. There are some snakes here, but they're not.
Wave Clear gegen Akali sollte nie ein Thema sein, und mit Q hast du halt bessere Trades.
Without the subjugate value here from Owner, so the timing of when he uses it and when T1 fight with it is going to be of paramount importance here. They're going to clear all this vision. D+ have just been avoiding so many fights this series, and it looks like this might be another one of those. They weren't set up for it. They sent Lucid home, and he's actually going to the bottom side of the map. Maybe their angle here is going to be to try to dive Paze, but Paze has flash and teleport back up, so ultimately, actually, nobody fights for the grubs. Owner also leaves, even though they have topside prio, and just kind of wait for the next fight. It says small gold lead here for
Also
T1.
der LCK
Across the
Watch
board.
Party Move.
A lot of that is in these solo lanes, right, where you see the advantage for the Jace. You know, he has.
Erinnert mich bitte dran, wenn das normale Overlay wieder zurück ist.
So man, Korea just doesn't miss these.
Yeah, he's just he's gone in. I mean, Showmaker didn't really need him to. He was just happily farming things up. As now Shiu.
Ich frage mich wirklich, wie Objective Standoffs aussehen, ne? Weil wir haben ja ganz klare Identitäten. Also T1 will Objective Control haben und die auch halten. Und auf der anderen Seite hast du halt, eine Comp mit sehr vielen Möglichkeiten zu flanken. Also ob es jetzt Nafiri plus Rakan oder Akali ist. Sehr interessant.
And this is going to be about 1,000 gold in the lead as well. Maybe
Oh, die kriegen fetten Gold
probably a 1.5k advantage for T1. So not exactly the best of plays here for D+. As, yeah, Pace even destroys the whole wave.
This is the problem is.
Tia spielt schlecht heute.
Avoided that fight, but I think there's a fight.
Aber haben doch letztens schon gegen Ding schlecht gespielt, gegen LGD. Wie scheiße
You can't
gespielt.
play this comp like that. You know, it's not like the game 2 composition where you have Aatrox that can just walk on top of the enemy AD carry. They're going to keep you at arm's length. They have so much range, and they have zoning now with this Victor in the draft, as well as the Trundle you mentioned earlier on. So if you just say, well, I don't like that a few more times.
Geht hier um irgendwas? Sehr wichtig, Top 2 zu bekommen in der Gruppe, damit du Runde 1 von Playoffs gibst.
And elongate a game
Also ja,
favoring you the longer it
gewinnt TK, können sie noch Top 2 machen. Verliert DK? Nein.
Doran is also not going to get yelled at. Does take a bit of damage, but not really too much more. So that is 0 for 2 on Smash's Petrifying Gazes.
Unfortunate for him, 2 attempts, 2 fails. And
Drake
T1,
up and available.
I mean, they're starting to really run away with this game. The D+, they are at their strongest in the mid game.
Also,
The Akali hasn't been accelerated.
finde ich jetzt nicht so wahr, die Aussage.
Favors T1.
Verstehe, worauf er hinaus will, aber die haben halt 2 Drakes, also.
Owner is just not even afraid of this Cassante right now. It will be an Akali coming over to push him out of the jungle, but that's kind of what they wanted.
Yeah, and it should be the Drake going on over to D+ Kia. Owner not looking.
Also, weiß nicht, wo rennen sie weg?
With that ward that is down. And
By the way,
Mountain Soul, my God, Owner's value if it is going to be D+.
This is-
Stacking Drakes.
I feel like this is just, it's a win for T1 either way. You know, they become tankier and more difficult to kill if they get the soul, they stack it up, and for D+, it's not even a big benefit is Doran.
Es ist kein Big Benefit gegen eine Poke-Comp. Ich schwöre, ich kann ihm nicht zuhören, by the way. Ich schwöre, ich kann ihm nicht zuhören.
With the Stands United, keep Doran alive and holds onto his flash.
And Shiu is just getting collapsed on here. We're going to see that subjugate now.
Yeah, he does just Pathmaker and Flash to get himself out of the way, and there's
Mute, nein, aber es ist insane, by the way.
this first blood lasting a long time. And this is definitely going to be our longest.
That was since round 2.
Oh, Flash out there from Owner, didn't want to be all outed.
Even the stun.
Dieser Topline-Play von Six, der war gut. Der,
Both sides of the map. They're able to escape with Doran there and get carried there for the defense and deny that turret while also pushing Shiu in here, and more plate gold is going over to Faker.
ja, und der Bot dann ist AFK, oder was?
Stayed about, 1,500 or so. This game hasn't changed that much, but that's right where they want to be. You know, that first blood stat is right where they want to be.
And it's weird because it's feeling to me like D+ are playing as if they're very happy to go late into T1 with this composition. I think it could work.
If the Akali is relevant, I agree. I think it could work. Could be a very strong situation for them where, it's an even game state and we're 6 and 6 kills right now, but a lot of that money is onto this Akali and Smash is scaling. Maybe he didn't get a big lead, but he's Cassiopeia. He's going to have more damage throughput than a lot of these other champions on the side of T1. But I think when the Victor is building the way that Faker is, right? He's got Rod of Ages here, which is rare. We don't always see this, actually, on Victor in this meta.
Gibt es ungefähr einen Goldvorteil, den der Six zu gewissem Zeitpunkt haben sollte? Also ich gehe immer mit 5k Richtung Mitte, also Richtung Mid-Game-ish. Aber nicht unbedingt, weil es gibt natürlich, also die Sache ist mit einer Six-Comp. Ich hasse 3 Grubs so sehr. So fucking OP. Wow, das war gut von Shivo gespielt. Das war richtig gut von Shivo. Oh, Pace ist tot. Ich würde sagen, eine Six-Comp kann mit einem gewonnenen Fight halt mal easy 6.000 Gold generieren. 5.000, 6.000 Gold generieren. Easy. Ja, ist ja super als T1-Favored wieder.
Faker is now in an awkward spot. Korea finds another grand entrance. It's a triple kill, and Wolf, you were saying, is this a
ja, also.
get fed? The answer is hell yes.
Quadra kill for Showmaker! This is the exact nightmare scenario T1 were trying to avoid, but they set it up themselves! They look for a play onto the Cassante under turret, and Shiu turns it around.
Sehr gut natürlich, geil, also geiler Pick auf Pace also erstmal geiler Outplay von Shivu da unten. Und dann geiler Play von Showmaker und Smash auf Pace. Und dann der Collapse.
Because they've been fishing for a fight this entire game, but they've never been able to find one that they liked. But when T1 were the ones to make the first move, D+ were all over that. So Pace here trying to collapse in and add some extra damage. Smash and Showmaker were here to intercept. They kill him as that play is happening bottom side, where it's turned around by Shiu. And now all 5 members of T1 are down here.
Geile Smash-Ulti auch.
Trapped. That turret is not enough into this much burst damage. And suddenly, D+ Key are exactly where this composition needs to be. The
Doran tried to teleport away!
And Career does not miss those today. It's a Quadra. And I think T1 fans ever are hoping that UI is not going to come up with a number, because that number in the mid lane lead is going to be massive.
Yeah, CV Max, you can see, not celebrating too hard, but is incredibly happy about that particular moment. I could still see the stress in his eyes, though. It is not over yet. 50 seconds on the clock until Soul Point, though, for D+. That could be a huge deal. But man,
Das müssten 2 fertige Items jetzt bei Showmaker sein.
Blood to Ace.
Yeah, a full ace.
Yeah, that is just, that's not what I was expecting. My bingo card didn't have that option.
A clean ace at like 15 and a half minutes into the game. Maybe even just around 16. Either way.
It was 15 and 37 seconds, Wolf.
Okay.
I was looking at the clock at the moment.
Well,
I've got the stat for the stats team.
There you go. I think this next fight over Dragon is one that D+ was dreading moments before. We're like, oh, I just don't think we're ahead enough to take it. And now they are super ready. Like, oh yeah, double Dragon. Oh, was our plan all along? You know, wait for this Soul Point fight. And Career has his ultimate available. Does not have Flash, but it's coming up pretty soon. If he can actually get a Flash ult here.
Showmaker hat kein Flash. Das ist wichtig, ne? Also allgemein, beide Carries von DK haben kein Flash. Da kann jetzt natürlich was passieren, aber auch da, Carry hat kein Flash. Richtig, es ist lediglich Owner.
It just doesn't look like T1 are going to be able to find their way into this one. The Victor is just not scaled up just yet. And it's trying to force their way in.
And it's so difficult as well.
Das Game legit nicht over. Ich würde sagen, es ist schwer, sehr schwer, ja.
Get that poke down first, right? D+, they still need to be able to turn on a dime. They need to start these fights immediately before the Ziggs and the Jace just kind of kill them. But Shiu is just hanging out.
Yeah, he's just gonna. He's like, we don't even need this dragon. Well, we have so much control. We could do this.
Now he's going to be able to push Faker out of his.
Kein Flash auf Faker.
All out, he's dancing around the gravity field. That's crazy. But the Arcane Storm still comes in.
Hatte kein Weh? Shivu?
The answer is looking like a no.
Hä?
As a Mega Inferno Bomb, not quite going to be able to take him down. He gets a big shield. He's buying so much time until he's dead. Faker is going to be able to put him down in the end.
They get a dragon on the cross map, of course. I mean, this was the plan originally, but D+ do it pretty slowly.
Shivu, du Motherfucker.
So they control that space. I think the initial idea with the Cassante was great because it's like, okay, well, I'm going to get this whole turret and we're going to get the dragon. T1 don't really have any agency here. Faker rotates up, and I think he just really underestimated the damage. He doesn't really have any MR yet.
I still think it's probably fine for D+, though. I think Soul Point is so strong for this composition.
I agree, but I also think that they could have just,
yeah, he could have just not died.
Ja, genau, also Shivu, also kompletter In von Shivu. Disgusting.
But I don't have to, as Doran is now going to be TP'd on by a Fed Akali who has Rocket Belt.
He just got his flash back, and yeah, he's going to be able to teleport out because Akali does not have any hard CC.
He also just got his TP back, and now doesn't have it anymore.
That's going to be a dead turret. Yeah, that is a full turret to go down. Smash getting a little bit of money back here. So we can see there are bounties across the board.
So Shiu...
Warum divest du, Motherfucker? Ihr bekommt Drake for free, wo covert
to all-in Faker here. You can just let the minions do the work, and maybe, you know, I guess the idea is if he pulls Keria, then they like 100% get the dragon without Keria being there, but I just don't think this was necessary. He also flashed the ult, but then still die. So it was nice a kill from Smash, or sorry, from Paze, I suppose.
Yeah, gets out of the Mega Inferno Bomb and keeps Paze on 0-1-0. I guess there is a positive to be made from that one. Also, I think made sure that the minions took an extra bit of damage out of that outer turret by wasting some time. I don't know whether the flash was all that necessary, but he's a Cassante. Maybe he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he cares that much, but we'll see if it ends up being a defining point in this game.
Dash
I'm
for
being
Showmaker.
I'm being a little bit picky about the whole situation about, he didn't have to do that, but it means that T1 gets something back, right? The gold lead is tiny. It's 900 here. Obviously, a lot of the money on the Sakali, which is exactly where you want it to be because the Cassiopeia is scaling. This is where I was talking earlier about the question you asked was like, do D+ kind of scale? Are they comfortable with this? Well, with the Fed Akali, I think the answer is yes, but they still want to keep putting that pressure on over and over and over again. This next Dragon is where they want to basically end this game.
They're bullying poor Shiu.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
Yeah, he's going to be able to pull Faker away, though. Let's see whether this is actually going to work, because Owner is down here, and it's just so hard to be this Cassante when an Owner can take away all of your stuff. Like, your stats just disappear.
Yeah, and even though he is building some of that MR now to get his Jack shows, it just doesn't show up when he presses R on you. This is a situation where if he had Flash, he might have been able to live there. But at the end of the day, it's just a good play from T1 who, again, keep this gold very even.
Yeah, 700 gold.
Exactly.
And this was with like a 15-minute ace. That's the crazy part. D+ should be feeling very strong right now, but T1 just keeping it together, playing it slow. And yeah, as soon as Subjugate gets pressed, like, look, he's made of paper. I know when you go all out, you do lose a bunch of your stats, but
this does mean that they
Wir machen das Shivo. Accelerator. Shivo, wie machen wir's? Wir müssen aufhören zu inten. Also, to be fair, die benutzt schon sehr viel, aber dieser scheiß Jace hat 50 CS mehr, ne? Also wenn der anfängt zu carryen, haben wir ein Problem.
Because they know that, they have the tempo and they're exactly where they want to be, but where they want to be is killing the champions over and over and over again. So they got to find those, they got to kill those. And maybe kill him for a Baron?
Getting a Mountain Soul will also be a huge deal for D+ if they can actually get there. That extra shield, I think, will really help into the poke. Not the same as an Ocean Soul, but still does do a similar job.
Yeah, notice that Pays did just use his ultimate there because he thought there was a chance that D+ were, in fact, on that Baron. He used his ult to check, so doesn't have it. I don't know if you guys caught that on the minimap, but
that's actually really smart. It's Cassio. She does a lot of Baron damage.
They were on the same page as me. They're like, they're trying to kill us, but they might also be killing the Baron. We don't have enough vision to know. So it was a nice check there. D+ were not taking that risk because they're kind of risk averse this series, which I think is a good idea. But this comp does again need to, you gotta have your.
Charlotte, danke für den Prime. Denkst du, am neuen Patch wird es Jungle-Änderungen geben? Also maybe Up Jungle wird sowas wie interessanter Mitte? Gut möglich. Ich denke, Maokai sollte wieder ein Faktor werden. Habe das Gefühl, dass T1 gewinnt. Also dieser Akali ist wirklich der absolute Endgegner.
Getting access to the fight is going to be a little bit tricky for him. It's still 40 seconds to go, and so they're doing the Shiu strategy again. They're like, maybe Faker will go up and answer him, and then we'll just do the whole dance again.
Or maybe Owner will go up there because the Subjugate value is so high, and then they won't have a smite in the Dragon Pit. That could be another option.
I mean, he's just working on this, and they also left the Akali to the...
Sidon ist sehr, sehr geil für DK. Das ist natürlich super. Frage ist, bekommt Shivu noch seinen Jackshow fertig? Schaut mal auf seine Items. Der Base jetzt und hat dann Jackshow fertig, oder?
Look, another thing, like, my bingo card's useless, man. Like, what does it even have on it? Oh, man. All right, well, D+ going to look to try and defend as T1 have a lot of people in mid. And Shiu is just ignoring it completely.
D+ are like, you guys are too early for the Dragon. I'm calling you out for it. As they're going to get that whole topside turret, and he can still TP in. Yeah, there's the turret, and there's the TP.
Ja, kein Jackshow gekauft jetzt.
There's Smash looking to push, carry out. Shiu has teleported forward. Look at that big old shield that he's got from his quest completion.
Schaut auf Showmaker.
Into the Dragon Pit. That one is fully reset. Showmaker is spotted as the Blast Cone gets rid of him, but T1 are routed. They are pushed away.
So, wie viel Zeit willst du auf dem Objective verbringen, DK? Weil Career ist schon Harvard-Spiel, Bruder.
Force something. Yeah, gets on top of Pays. Korea not going to be able to go for an engage though as Smash gets put in the kennel. Shiu just taking a lot of damage here. And this is
what Doran
talking about. Miasma comes in. Doran taking a lot of damage off to the side.
Was? Oh, beautiful. 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 Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Well played, Korea.
Turn on a dime and T1 couldn't even blink.
Well played, Korea. Und sie können nichts gegen die Akali machen. Geil. Also absolut geil einfach. Stark.
Giving carrier POMs, it's just support POM.
I guess so. Those Owner is just trying to hold waves here. They are in tatters.
Sehr geil.
I think Career might have just won the game. What a play after so many good knockups in the early game. He gets chunked and he says, I'm still going in.
Mich flashen.
I'm still going in. Shoemaker was trying to continue to go in. But he does decide to stop.
Sexy Ding, ey, ohne Spaß, sexy Fight.
Be the lone survivor here for T1. This time it's not a second ace, but wouldn't it be crazy if it were just 2 team fights and 2
Look
aces?
at this, man.
Look at this. He is so low health. They're all so stacked up though. Look at this.
Geil, auch richtig schön mit Fock gearbeitet, ne?
And then the follow-up was
Richtig nice mit Fock.
and it's just the wombo combo. That
And
T1
Faker
didn't-
knew he had the gravity field down, but Korea went for the flash play to make sure that he guaranteed it. That was absolutely insane.
One of the
man.
craziest recon plays we've ever seen. At 0 health, he does it. Crazy. And D Plus have pulled the trigger twice this game. And it's 5 kills and 4, the 2 they get from said plays. And that's enough to get Mountain Soul. And yes, you got the Subjugate, but you only get it on 1 target. And now even this Cassiopeia, who's very tanky, is a huge threat that you can't necessarily cut through very quickly. The Ziggs bomb and burst is going to hit shields. So that's a problem.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, that first salvo of poke is going to come in. D Plus are not going to notice. And then they'll just either back away.
Sieht DK wieder stark aus, wirklich tagesformabhängig. Absolut agree.
Korea, man.
Allgemein, ich habe das Gefühl, die ganze Legend Group ist sehr tagesformabhängig.
There's 2 Magi possibilities. There's 2 Magi possibilities here for D Plus. If they win another fight, they just start to balloon even further into the lead.
Oh, Doran not going to quite find that shock blast. And I still feel like T1's composition has a lot to offer, right? Like, if they are able to stabilize this game at all, I mean, the gold lead is not gigantic, and they have one of these comps where the win conditions are so different to that of DK, and if they are able to play out these fights the way they want to, it will look very different. The problem is, DK have been able to play the way they want. As there's the ult from Lucid, going in on to Owner. He tries to interrupt and does manage to do so, but is still going to get pushed out of his jungle.
If they kill Owner there, they get...
Okay, wollen die den starten noch, den Ash, oder wollen sie ihn gar nicht? Ja, ich wollte gerade sagen, ja, doch, jetzt schon.
Like, maybe they still get this anyway.
Yeah, maybe you're right. As Doran, he does have TP, he's going to have to join. Showmaker looks for the Owen.
Oh.
Whether he can just kill Faker here as the Arcane Storm goes down. Showmaker just going to dash away those Cisa teleport coming in. And Career's playing defense. Doran dives on top of Showmaker, and they're off the Baron.
Guys,
Gets over to
chill, ja?
them away from his mid laner. Now
Shivu?
making his way.
Shivu!
Pathmaker comes on down, and there's the All-Out. Gets on top of Carrier to remove him from the fight.
Okay, sie haben kein C. Sie können, also, ne, ihr seht, wie schwer fighten ist, weil sie kein CC haben. Also, es gibt keinen Lockdown. Und DK hat halt so viele potenzielle Threats.
And she was getting his revenge as he takes out the troll. And there's another ulti from Lucid to finish them off. D+, man, they are thriving once again when the crowd is against them.
It's been over 2 years since T1 have lost a home ground. And when they lost the Telecom War, as
Holy
Career
fuck.
lose his life.
Yeah, it's going to be taken down.
Die finishen nicht, oder?
A lot of damage, buddy.
The base
Finishen
is
die?
open, and I think it's just not going
20 Sekunden? Ah, doch, die finishen.
Oh, the flashing from Showmaker, and he's going to put him down. Does not care about
Nice.
the minefield. He'll take out the Nexus turrets as
Schön gespielte Game, also sehr geile Fights in Game 3. Wann der Partnerschaft nächsten Monat? Ja, 1. September.
no, and T1's winning streak.
Also sehr wahrscheinlich. Also ja, 1. September.
Here and now.
Look at Career, he's getting hyped. He just beat
Richtig schönes Game 3.
Have you written it down? You've written it down,
I
right?
wrote it